magic is imagination. We are moving into an age of manifestation. Things become actually less material, more ethereal. The golden dawn is when we awaken to this new station of life. What you think becomes real quicker. Regain our imagination, regain our inner child, and let that inner child out.
My name is Frank Castle, founding member of the music group Heist Click and New York City Neo Shaman. After a serious injury sidelined my career in 2013, I decided to set out on an adventure to search for myself with the help of the plant medicine Ayahuasca. What I discovered waiting for me was something I could have never prepared for. It was time for me to become something more, someone more. It was time I became fearless. In the darkest of nights, gonna let my light shine as my heart beats a rhythm with space and time. When the light starts to shine inside your third eye, you awake to the knowledge that you never die. I'm becoming fearless. All right. What is up, everyone? It's your main man, Frank Castle, your sorcerer supreme, right here in each and every Saturday night on YouTube. This is Fearless, and this is my etherical translator, Paula Milo.
Hey, everyone. Am I sitting too close to you? I feel like I'm on top.
Well, that's why I loosened it up. You could actually slide back a little bit, and you could pull this out.
Okay.
I want to say what's up and happy holidays to everyone. Thank you so much for taking your time and spending it with us tonight.
Yes, thank you.
It is the 21st of December. It is
first day of winter.
The first day of winter, the solstice. It is winter is here, right? It's finally upon us. It's the shortest day of the year. And some would say the grand portal or something opened and there's more energy coming in and it's supposed to be great and grand and pretty awesome. Now, mind you, the energy is pretty good outside of a whole bunch of things. Things are good. Kind of can't explain it. It's like a 50-50 split with what's happening right now. But they call tonight the dark night of the soul. Interesting. I didn't know that either. And with all the crazy things that have been going on, the events around the world, fires, fake impeachment hearings, earthquakes, volcanoes, Kali Yuga. Is that the right word? Kali Yuga. Right? That's where we're at. The apocalypse.
Look,
the breaking of one system into the next.
A lot of very strange things have been happening lately. So I'm not surprised.
Like, subscribe, and share, please. It's what helps get the word out there. Yeah, we're taking it on the chin, huh? Mm-hmm. Talk about shooting through dimensions face first. It looks like we're ascending face first as well.
Yeah.
Right? So
yeah, it's been a rough couple of weeks, I have to say.
I witnessed a lot of now, pardon us, we're pretty beat up right now. We've been crying for a while, since 4 o'clock in the morning. Everyone's going through something, and it's how the further I get through this, it's only our understanding of the same events over and over, just different, like slightly different pieces of the equation, added, subtracted, same scenario.
Different, yeah.
To see how you react to it, and it's a cycle, and we're all part of it, and we're all going through it, and no matter how far along we are in this is not an easy task.
No. And I want to say hello to all of the our Facebook friends in our group, and I want to apologize if I haven't gotten back to everyone yet. It's just been really crazy. It's this last month has gone by. I think this was the quickest month of the year. it's
I've
just
never
been,
felt time go by so
yeah,
quickly,
it's
but
just,
so slow at the same time.
yeah, it's very strange. So like balancing holiday issues and Christmas shopping and personal stuff, and we have a cat missing again, another cat that's missing since last night, and it doesn't surprise me that she's missing on a solstice. We found
All right,
three different,
let me preface this real quick because this drove me nuts today.
yeah, like
Because
I
I know
can't,
exactly where you're going with this.
yeah,
Okay, so Paula's favorite color is
gray.
okay. Frankie's favorite color is
Gray
okay. I like to wear offsets of white
and
and
gray.
blue and gray.
Gray.
That's it, right? Like I wear other colors, but that's what we wind up wearing all the time.
Gray and and
I'm
and,
wearing gray
and
shorts, white
yeah,
t-shirt, blue
yeah, and I'm
long
wearing gray.
underwear,
Actually have a sweater on, and
bluish
it's
gray.
not gray. But I have this exact sweater in gray. Anyway, the point is
So our cat is gray and white
gray and
with
white.
one eye, and she's a baby,
She's missing,
right?
which
So we let her out last night. She went running around. So I start losing it about 4 o'clock in the morning. I
she didn't
can't
come
sleep.
back.
She didn't come back.
They come back every half hour. They go out for a little while, 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. If it's really cold out, 10, 15 minutes.
And you give them a couple of cycles just in case of
And
everyone coming in and
she
out.
didn't come back. So Frank didn't sleep from last night. I slept. I woke up. When Frank did fall asleep, he was having a dream that he was outside looking for her. So as soon as he woke up, he went. As soon as he woke up, he put his shoes on and he put his jacket on and he
I
went
was
out looking for
sleeping
her.
thinking I was looking for her. So my dream was me searching around looking for her, and I was screaming her name, and I'm just like, give me back my cat, blah 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 blah. So I get up, I just start going. First thing I see outside, I see a gray and white thing dead in the street. And I run over to it, and it's a pretty chubby squirrel.
Squirrel.
And I'm like, oh,
Yeah. Next thing, gray and white, dead bird.
dead bird. Wait, this, by the way,
I know.
when I
I
walked
know.
down there before, okay, so I'm freaking out. So now I go around the block, and I'm just walking. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. I thought I was going to get arrested
And I
this
said,
morning.
Frank, be careful because people are going to think you're.
I have a
Everyone
flashlight,
has
and
a
I'm got a
everyone has
hoodie
a ring
on.
doorbell.
It's
They're going to
two
think you're
degrees
casing
out.
houses. Meanwhile, you're looking for your cat.
So I come around, and there's a dead bird further down, and then you come home with my mother today.
Oh yeah, I took
As
over
they
to
were coming up the road looking,
dead cat in the street.
my mother says to Paula, turn
Turn
your head
face. Dead cat in the street.
and wait, the cat is gray and white,
Yeah. So
and
now,
but it's smushed flat. So I run down to go take a look at it, and I put gloves on, and I'm like, I can't tell.
is this
if
another
it-
one of our cats that we feed
I-
outside?
I have
like,
no
is
clue.
it
It's smushed. I've never seen anything like this. I'm not going to get graphic,
yeah.
but it was smushed. Like I've never. I think I have PTSD from this.
Yeah, I'm just so we're just a little overwhelmed.
So that we
because-
know, you said the cat's ear was snipped. You were
Yeah,
like, we went back.
Our,
And she's like, check
cat's
the ear.
is tipped.
So the ear was sticking up. Like,
yeah,
so I picked them up by the ears, and I was like, no, ears are intact. So okay. Now, there's a dead gray bird right on that corner.
I know.
And I'm going
I
to.
know. It's like is this
Then
a
my
ma-
grandfather, he takes
Oh,
a
yeah.
horrible turn for the
Yeah,
worse today.
Their Frank has to run over to the house.
Boom, boom, boom. It was like just taking shots on the head.
I know, and like I know we talk about the cats a lot, and people want to hear about the good stuff.
We're
and-
gonna
and
get
I
to
know
the
that,
good
but,
stuff.
But this is
This is part of the
like
good
it's all
stuff.
relevant. These were the cats that we those kittens that we spayed and neutered, and they are feral animals. They do not want to be house cats. And one of the beautiful ladies in our group, Nicole, she actually wanted to take one of the cats, and I told her, I said, if we can find one that wants to be a full inside, indoor cat, we'd be happy to give her. But the feral cats, Frank and I took the training on trap, neuter, release, and even in the training, they explain to you that if cats are feral, they choose to be in the wild, they choose to live outdoors. You don't take feral cats in, they don't want to be inside cats. You take cats that were thrown out, you take indoor cats that people let go. Those are the cats that want to be inside, but you don't make a feral cat come inside, and you don't try to make him be something he's not. So
Yeah, you
these
can't
so
force
these
any of
cats,
them.
we feed them. We care for them. They're a registered colony with the Mayor's Alliance, through the feral TNR program. You know, but there are cats and we love them. They've been a part of our lives, some of them for a couple of years. I mean, we have the grandparent to all these cats. And this was one of the seven that, I mean,
It was
most of you donated money to help care for those cats. And it's just a devastation. I mean, this is the cat that had the one eye. Everyone was praying that she'd get over the one eye. We just took her to the vet because she had an infection in her mouth. She went for her follow-up appointment. She was doing so well, and now she may not be on this planet anymore. We don't know yet. I don't know.
She's small.
And she's a little baby. I mean, they're only about 9 months old now.
If she's 9 months, that's
I know.
that's a lot.
And 8 or 9, yeah. I don't even know.
I'm walking down here, and there's this center, an old Jewish center, closed up. I want to show you how the universe is it just blows my mind as I'm finding dead creatures that are gray and white as I'm walking.
I just think it's
and I'm going, Gigi, right? And I can't even whistle anymore. I'm sore. And as I'm doing that, I get down to the Jewish center. It's all boarded up. And in giant letters, there's a G period G right on the front door.
wow.
When we drive down over there next time, I'm going to
yeah.
show it to you. It's the last door, which is the
Wow.
first door when you come up the block.
You know what, Frank, though?
And I'm standing in front of the two G's going, G, whistling. And I look up and see that. And I'm like, are you guys, could we just get a direct line from shaman to the animal, please? And let's get this on. And I'm like, oh, it's funny how nobody answers me.
Because when you're not supposed to know, you're not supposed to know.
But
And I
I
think
can't sleep at night.
But
Ever.
I just shared a thing on Facebook about that. There was an article I shared it for you.
Right. And I'm just shoved with downloads and uploads and
when you're
things
ready
and
to
that those
receive the
things.
download, and then when you're sleeping and you're like,
Yeah. I don't remember. I remember going to sleep at 11:30 trying to be a normal human being and waking up
it's
like
just not
an hour
working.
later as if my head's being pulled back, someone's poking me in my throat, and I'm being dragged to be awake because you got to be awake. And then 5:30 in the morning, I'm like this.
Information is coming.
And then I fall asleep. By 10, I'm like.
But what did they say? They said don't fight it, right? So now we're not fighting. Yeah.
So months.
And now we're
so,
not
let's
fighting
say since we've been in this house, I've had this problem at certain points. And I understood when it was darker, when there were darker moments, right? We sleep in shifts because these things might be taking us and stuff. Because as we go into ayahuasca, or we're having our visions, or through meditation or DMT or whatever mushrooms, you're being shown it. You're literally watching them take you, and you don't know what to do. So you start sleeping in shifts, trying to battle things back, and it doesn't help at all. You're trying to watch your partner, but everyone was doing this. Right. So you're like, okay, but then you come out of that, you like heal that wound. It's like, no one's coming to take me. I'm becoming strong in my mind and whatever. And then I'm still not sleeping at night. Now we're going into 4 years. Right. Now I feel like the dead that walks through the home late at night, like the ghost that roams the house.
No.
And I say to myself, what am I doing here? It's almost like I spend 5 to 6 hours. This is why I haven't been running any meditations, because I'm in meditation constantly all night long. The visions and everything. You get to the point when you're not sleeping on the third day, you're hallucinating for sure, hallucinating. And that's when, grandpa will go down. That's when mom needs something.
Needs you the most. I know.
You
just got to do what you got to do.
And then you just got to, jump up and take it.
I don't even have words.
It starts to blend.
I really don't. I don't even have words. But the funny thing is, so now since last night, and I have a neuromuscular condition. So I was like a pretzel because I was so nerved up. Where is this cat? And things, you still have to function, you still have to go through your daily day. And thank you for the donations. Thank you. You could put it up. Thank you. So I had to go to the chiropractor with Frank's mom. She asked me
really, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much.
Sending you
Thank
positive
Happy
vibes
holidays.
and happy holidays. I love you Very, very much.
So I'm in the doctor's office with your mom. She goes in for her appointment. She had to start seeing that chiropractor because she needs electric stim for her back. And I said, you know what? I'm here. I'm probably going to go to more of these appointments with her. Let me just ask if I can make an appointment myself to be seen. So they were so wonderful in there. I have to mention the doctor's name. I mean, they were just wonderful in there. And they were like, "Oh, we could see you right now." While she's being treated, we could see you, and I was like, "No way!" Like it was magic. Like, you know, what do you mean? What do you mean? I actually made a request, and it's going to be granted right now. So, P.S. They see me, they treat me, and it was one of the best experiences in my life. And I think had I not had that happen to me today, I don't think I could have continued on today because I think when he adjusted me, I cracked like a pretzel. I mean, it 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 sounded like corn popping. That's how bad it was. And once I was adjusted, I felt better than I had felt in weeks. And I think that really allowed me to to push on, you know. And I mean, we're in the middle of it. We're baking cookies, we're giving cookies. We decided this year we wanted to, you know, thank the people we deal with every day, like our butcher and, you know,
The vet.
the lady who takes care, who washes our clothes, the vet, you know. And so Frank and I are baking hundreds and hundreds of cookies to give out, and we have to bake more cookies because we need more cookies. And you know, today was supposed to be baking and Christmas present wrapping and you know,
Festive fun and
just
stuff.
you know, fun, you know, before the holiday time, normal stuff, you know. And last, you know, and then it was supposed to start last night, but she didn't come back, and then it, you know, and we do have to push on, and we do have to, you know, we can't mourn her, we just have to rejoice in her. And she, if she is no longer here, she lived, we provided the best life that we could for her. You know, she was supposed, I think, I agree that we changed her timeline, but I feel that she was supposed to die, and then we took her in and fixed her eye. So maybe she was living on borrowed time anyway. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't. I
I,
need
I
to.
don't want to poo poo on that, but I want to scream bullshit
No, go ahead then.
because
You're allowed. You're
what do you
allowed to
what
feel
do you
any
or
way
what
you
do
want
you
to
even
feel.
give us the ability to
To
give
care
her
for her.
to
Yeah,
put that
absolutely.
in? I mean, literally, we were just at the vet with her 2 days ago.
I know. Now I got to call the vet and tell the vet that you know, it's just hard. I feel like you know what I feel like.
I,
I feel like an unfit parent,
I
and it's
was gonna say
terrible.
that,
And it's terrible, and that's
and
how
there's
I
nothing you
feel.
can do about it. And
Yeah, it's just a terrible
one
feeling.
of the
It's just
things
terrible.
I don't, I'm really, I'm sorry. I'm also trying not to blame myself, knowing what I know
You
in
can't
this
blame
world,
yourself. You have to let them do
because
cat. Yeah.
just like Hop, we had 3 days, and that bird experienced.
No, the best 3 days ever.
We watched the Dragon show on HBO. We
Yeah,
sang. We
yeah,
took a
yeah. And that
shower. We
other
did
little
all
bird, that other
things you
little,
would never
yeah,
experience in the life of a little
a little
tiny
bird. And
this
then
bird
that other,
just from outside.
yeah, and that other bird was with us overnight, and then she flew away. Remember,
Yeah,
she was
well,
with us
we got
one
a
night.
second chance.
Yeah, to do it the right
And I
way,
understand
and
when
then she
Reggie
flew
sits
away.
on my lap every night and purrs
Oh,
that
it's
it
horrible.
squeak. Kadu is now back and is sitting in my lap and is a little beautiful girl that won't leave me. You could ask Paula. Runs to my lap. That's the spot. And will fight you if you
Oh,
try to pick her up
she loves
high
him. Yeah, you
or
can't
try to
move
push
her.
her off.
Can't move her.
She'll fight you for it. But if she's there and as
That's it.
she's purring, it feels like that vibration
Well, she's transmuting stuff.
is
Totally.
breaking up everything in my lowest three
Sacral
chakras.
chakra, yeah.
Yeah.
It's clearing.
And then Parker sits on my chest,
Right.
across my chest,
Heart
and I have to
chakra.
hold her like a parrot. It's so weird. And then she does this, but her purring,
Yeah.
my heart
Heart
hasn't
chakra,
been
yeah.
it would beat out of rhythm. And you'd be like, and I'm like, do I have clogged arteries? Do I have this? Do I have that? You know, and I've had the tests, and they're like, there's nothing wrong with you. So I know, because when we go under, we're going to talk about this because we do have quite a bit to discuss from last week. That when we didn't do the show, what went on. But I feel like that rhythm in that frequency and that vibration from the cats purring the way they do. They purr. It's like it's breaking up plaque.
It is. It's transmuting
There's
all
a
the garbage. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a commercial on TV where they take the sonic thing and go in the person's mouth
Oh
and break
yeah.
up the
Yeah,
plaque
but
on
that's
their
exactly
teeth,
what's
and
happening.
it like breaks away. I feel like the cat
Uh-huh.
vibration is doing
But
that
that's what's happening.
etherically to me in all the different spots.
Okay.
But so yeah, I like argue with the universe at moments when I'm like, okay, so you give me the ability to go outside. I was with this cat the minute she showed up, right? She didn't want they were none of them want nothing to do with you, but they all hang all around you, right? So for those that understand this, um she gets a scratch in her eye and then she loses she's outside and the eye gets worse in a few days and then she's sick and she's down and I'm like, well, we can't I remember looking at Paul, going, look at her eye. Like, what are we gonna do? We can't just leave her there. There's all these cats. We're feeding everyone. Like, and she's like, you take that cat, grab her, and bring her in. There was the conversation lasted 30 seconds. Okay, so then you heal it. Yeah, the top just this part. Which way do you want it? That way? No.
That way, yeah. Okay. 'Cause I feel like I'm
battling.
Yeah, I'm battling.
You don't have to battle.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give you a little more too.
Thank you. You're so kind to me.
Thanks.
Oh, better. Okay.
All right, so the animals are doing all these wonderful things with their frequencies and their vibrations. But now, why would you let me take this cat in, raise it, fix it? Everyone tried to kill this cat.
Yeah.
The first lady was like, "Oh, that eye has to come out, and if she needs to go down, we'll just inject her with the whatever, and we'll put her down." I'm like, and I remember you quote me on this. I said I did not come here from the highest dimensions. This is what I said to this lady because she was.
Oh, I remember.
She's like
we gave her
a little bit of a Bible thumper, and Jesus this, Jesus that. I'm like, I didn't come from the highest dimensions and frequencies to kill kittens. Are you out of your mind? Out of control. Sometimes a little love and a little faith.
That's all you need.
That's all you need. And then the eye was popped. You guys remember it was popped out to here. It fell off. I was like, well, the eye's gone. And then there was an eye underneath. I was like, what fell off? It looked like an umbilical cord attachment just cracked off and fell. Like it was weird. And there was a scrambled egg looking eye, and it was like grayish. So she lost the eye, but she ran this household. So now you're with this animal every day. I have not been without her except when I slept at my grandparents' house.
Since July.
Every single day. So to not be concerned or worried, I hate that word worry. We're not supposed to use that. Yeah. But I guess as a cat dad, I'm like pretty pissed off. Like, yo, that's 4 cats. See, this is where they get mad at me. They're like, we didn't take anyone. I'm like, well, you know what? You can quote me and then we'll watch it back later on the reel. But
we helped where help was needed.
Sherman, Blinky,
Charlie,
Merlin.
This is the 5th cat.
Just this year
that's gone.
My grandmother, like, that's a lot. So for us, we lost like a chunk of family, plus there's dead family members that just die, right? Like on top of, grandma was my close. So I don't want you to ever feel, and this is my point to this, I don't want you ever to feel like you're alone going through this, and we're definitely not victims, and we're just telling the story, and this is the rough part of the story, because people think because we rock it, like this kind of stuff doesn't happen. Death doesn't affect them. No, not seeing your face every day will. I feel like I have PTSD from I lifted this cat by its ears out of its own imprint. And it was just, I was going, I can't tell. I can't tell.
It's just bad. Oh, Melinda, you have 4 cats. You understand. I know you understand. They are here for a reason. They really are. And I think that, Frank and I had told the story on earlier episodes. He was attacked in the house over the summer, and it was over the summer, right?
Mm-hmm.
It happened.
Yes.
And we believe it was no one's going to change my mind. It was a faction of the military that came in and used a weapon to see through walls.
come through the walls as
And
well. The walls just aren't there. I don't know. It's just what we're tuned into.
they ended up hitting him with another weapon that knocked him out completely. And after that, all these cats later in the summer, this happened earlier, and I
It was
think
like a
in
spurt.
the spring or early summer, and this happened later in the summer, and all these cats showed up, and I believe they were here to protect in some way.
I can't even begin to tell you guys that there's no joke when they say you want to go to therapy and go sit with a bunch of puppies or something.
Hmm.
I'm outside surrounded by kittens right after this happened, and I'm going, yeah, it's like it didn't even happen. Like I didn't care because there's kittens,
Right.
right? So it was like an immediate get your mind away from this onto this. Nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. It's like they don't want you to get caught up in the minutia of the
No,
devastating things
because other things,
and in the
other things
details
need
of
to
the
happen.
dark.
Like we have to pull it together tonight.
Because as you're facing that,
Yeah.
right, there's a million other things happening that you have to do. You have to go through. And you focusing on this just brings all these other things around you. She is. She ran up the couch and ran across. All right, so Paula made another prediction that came true.
Right again.
And hers are funny. It's not like she tries to predict anything. She just says, and this was a while ago, right? It was last year.
We
She
took
was
this
like,
cat
I guess
in
Christmas.
1 year
This
ago.
cat will come out and hang out with us.
This time last year, we brought this cat in. Luna. She was living on a piece of gutter behind someone's shed. She wasn't even stuck between a fence and the back of the shed. And then they tore down the shed, and she panicked. She didn't know what to do. So it took us a couple of months before we could get her in the house. And then we got her in the house, and she lived under the bed
for a couple of months.
And so I reworked the entire under the bed so that she'd have blankets and a place to eat, and we put a litter box near her so she was, she could feel comfortable going to the bathroom. And I said to Frank last year, I said, by Christmas, hopefully she'll be walking in the living room and hanging out with us.
And she's right over there.
Yeah, so we're right
hanging
on
out.
that.
She's
right on
sitting
that.
with us now.
Yeah, I mean, you look at her and she runs away, or you go to touch her and she runs away.
She'll run away and come right back.
And then
now.
she comes right back.
So it's just her getting over.
Yeah, I mean, she still has issues like eating with.
Talk about
a lot
learning
of cats around
patience.
Her, yeah,
right?
Yeah, you got to be patient.
How many of you would deal with a cat that was like that
when she eats?
If you had a kid and your kid's like, man, I want to play with the cat, and the cat's like just hiding under the bed. Like, would you have the patience to
I don't know.
take a year and not scream at the cat? Like, I've never yelled at Luna.
She would definitely be if she was.
I'm just loud, so it's weird.
If she was a shelter cat and someone adopted her, she would definitely be. I know.
She'd be taken back for sure.
Roxy, Mom, I agree with you. I agree so much. She would definitely be returned if she was a shelter cat, because I don't think people would be patient enough to take the time, because it is.
My brother.
It is.
Love you, Ricky.
I have to sit with her while she eats and reinforce that it's okay for her to eat. So definitely a lesson in patience, because I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
So all right. So definitely each cat is providing you something, but you're providing it.
But their
safety, security.
Everyone.
But you're learning patience and being kind and compassionate.
But you're learning something new about yourself through each animal. That's the funny part, It's like
yes, each one has its own thing.
That cat, look, Gigi Love. I love her.
She ran this house.
She ran the house. She had one eye she couldn't see. She had, she couldn't see out of her bad eye. She used to poop in my plant, and she was bad. I have a badness meter because she's always bad. And
I got you up to
my
here.
Heart and soul,
You're this bad.
Now she's not here, and it's absolutely terrible. It's absolutely terrible. But
and we tell you the story and of we're going there and we'll be with them again and all that, and that's great and groovy.
Hurts.
But this sucks on a level that's.
Oh, love you 3,000. Oh. You're only in the 6 to 9.
Me and Ricky go way back.
That's very sweet.
Shout outs to the market. Um, Yeah, so we're learning an individual multiple. Like
Mhm.
Roxy, she sits up here, but she always comes up to me at the off moment because
Mhm.
I always got other cats on me, and she's
Mhm.
older, and da, da, da. So I'm always like, "You're in the way when I'm eating," and then when on the she walks right across the keyboard, blip, 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 I'll be typing this giant letter, and then you'll just look across the screen, and it'll be sent like like
Yeah.
gibberish, and I'm like,
W's.
"Well, that's Roxy," and I feel like I give her crap sometimes, and
Mhm.
then
She just wants your
my
attention.
awareness tells me, yo, how do you feel about that? And I'm like, I feel terrible about that.
Mhm.
So now I give her
Yeah.
like,
All she
but
wants
it's
is your attention.
all she wants is a little bit of love. You just gotta
A little
rub her,
bit.
kiss,
A
and
little bit.
I
That's
do
it.
that, but sometimes you gotta go a little bit more. And I choose to do that because I feel terrible because I'm like, all right, I can't take the time. And it's like, well, there's so many, and it's like, well, then maybe you have too many.
Maybe you have too many.
Maybe you have too many then.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, no, that's not what I meant. It's just that they're in these weird off time slots that make it awkward to get anything done.
But it's self
And they're like,
awareness. You
well, what are you getting done? That letter couldn't wait 5 minutes.
not even. It's not even that. It's
Ah,
10 seconds. All she
yeah,
wants to
sometimes
do is
it's
be
just
petted on her head
30
for ten
seconds, let's
seconds.
say. Just say that you get rubber, give her a kiss. She looks at you weird, and then you got to come back, do it again. Does
And then
that
she
really
goes
take up
away.
to
She goes to sleep. That's all she wants.
right?
So
So if
you could make or break her day.
yeah, and it makes or breaks you if you're aware of that.
Hmm.
And then you drink aya or eat mushrooms, and they tell you either way it's fine. No one's judging you. It's how you feel and react to the situation. And I'm
Right.
like, well, I've been in these situations before where there's an
Yeah.
animal around me, and
You
I see
could give her
people not
love.
giving them
Yeah.
attention, and then
Give her
it
love.
bothers me because I'll be honest with you, I like to hang out with people sometimes. I mean, I like to hang out with animals
Yeah.
sometimes
It's
way more than
easier.
the people
It's
because
easier.
they're honest,
Hmm.
right? Like I'm connecting to them as well. If telepathy is going to work, right? Empathy is going to work on a we're already empathetic, most of us at least. Um, you're going to really find it with your animal first, right? Like I think if you have like you would get it with Oscar, it would just like pop up, right? Like it would just activate as you were just staring at your boy. But the same thing
Because
would happen to me holding Reggie, going in
yes,
realization
because
that this is Squeak
it's the same thing. It's
reincarnated.
when you're vibing, when you're on the same frequency with them, they're around you.
They're already in the higher frequency than we
Right.
are.
You have to
They're
rise to
connected to
meet
nature.
their frequency because they're always vibing at that frequency. And if they're not at that frequency, it's for a very small period of time and then they're back up. So we have to rise to their frequency. So if you're all vibing together, your animals are around you. If there are no animals around you, it's because your frequency cannot match theirs.
Yeah, these cats wouldn't come near me at first.
And
Like when I
they
first moved
don't
in
want
with
to be
Paula,
they don't want to lower their frequency to meet you,
they
so
can't.
they'll stay away.
They're
And
naturally in their natural thing.
yes, and when
You're
you're
the one that's out of that
yes, and
frequency.
when you're vibing, they're with you. That's why you have a cat on your lap and you're holding a cat in your arms, because you're all vibing at the same frequency. But when we're out of sync, when we're off, when we're vibrating at a lower, for like today because we were upset.
But here's the thing, I'm at a high frequency, even though this is happening. I'm just not being responded to during during certain moments, and that's kind of driving me nuts. I get the, oh, you're gonna stand there all stoic and look like an Egyptian thing just up against the wall, right? And then you're not gonna activate, come over, nothing, higher self, got nothing to say, right there. No, glowing though, glowing. I'm walking, I'm finding everything in nature is leading me that way by breathing. I said, I'm not even going to take my headphones. I walked like 6 miles today. No joke. I walked everywhere. Well, maybe not 6 miles, maybe like three though. I would not stop looking. I walked every one of these. I think people think I'm a nutbag.
That's why I
I
said be
found all these other
careful.
cats though. It's weird. There's all these. There's kittens down over here. There's a whole bunch of other kittens. They came running out of the block. And I'm like, oh, maybe she's over there. I mean, maybe she still is. I don't know. But anyway, so point is, we get around. I see the Gigi's on the wall. The universe is leading me. And then it's like, as I'm walking back and I'm just searching, instead of searching where when you're worried and you're kind of huffing and puffing, where, like I wasn't doing that.
Because you can't find anything that you think
Like
you've
my
lost.
body would not let me react like a freakazoid where I would normally be panting and
Right.
I'd be short of breath. I'd be like, I don't know what's happening to my world. None of that happened. None of
Right.
it. And I'm like, I've been here before, walking the block, searching.
That's what we did for everyone.
Except now I feel completely different. You know, as you walk down by that Jewish center, it's all boarded up, so it's not an actual Jewish center. It's just called that. The energy changes over there.
Mhm.
As soon as you walk before the I think it's like the first or second house from that center, it just goes numb. And I walked over and I was like, whoa, and it's all boarded up and stuff. I'm like, what the hell is
Right,
going
because
on
it's
over
been
here?
vacant for a while, so it's stale energy. But also across the street from that, across the street, underneath the subway comes above ground, and then goes below
Yes.
ground again on the corner. So it's on the angle. So it's perpendicular to the Jewish Center.
Yes.
And I think because I feel that the subways are portals, and we have two portals here, and it's a one-bedroom apartment. We have a portal over the bathroom, and we have a portal
Right there.
through the front door, over the front
Well,
door.
it's not even a front door. It's like the door. Then
It's
you
the
go into
door
the
to
room with the front door.
to the foyer, and then there's the front door. And I think the subways are portals, and where
We're on the
that
ley line here
yeah,
for sure.
where that Jewish center is, right perpendicular to it is the subway comes above ground and then goes back underground.
Yeah, it does like the little worm thing. The snake
Mhm.
worm goes.
Yeah. Now
Dips
I
in.
don't know if that's part of the line or if that's
It's
for other trains. No, I think it is though. No, I think it might be your
this place is specifically mapped and set up from the original architecture to run the
I don't
ley
know if the subway
lines
goes through there, if
energetically
they
into the
moved
higher.
broken the trains that need to be repaired on that line. But anyway, the subway there's a
I
there are
think
train tracks and
that
they come
goes
through.
over to White Plains and then kicks over.
No, I think that goes
Or-
to Throop Avenue, to Allerton Avenue. So it's Esplanade Avenue.
Oh shit!
Remember
Snap! Yeah,
the,
you might be
the
right.
way we drive to the supermarket?
Yeah,
Okay, that's towards Allerton. So it's by the train station by Allerton, which is where I think Angela accidentally got off.
that's where Mr. Burns got off. I had a guy come visit me from Canada,
Yeah,
and he got off the train over there.
Yeah.
And he was like just talking to me, smoking a cigar, walking around, saying good morning to people. I'm like, yeah, you don't want to do that where you're at. Stop doing that.
No, it's not that bad over there. It's just
Oh,
far.
It was like 10
it's-
years ago.
No, but it's far. That's where we go to the
Mhm.
supermarket. Anyway.
And the architecture's set up to.
Yeah, but it's just
Like
a
as
very
above,
weird
so
energy over
below,
there.
but it also
Yeah.
collects the energy. Yeah, you know
Yeah,
what?
it's that,
Those
no,
are more
that's why-
crowded spots
but
as
that-
well.
But that's why I'm saying
So-
that to you, because I agree with you. The energy is weird over there. Even when we-
Towns and centers are set up like this with the
Yeah.
circle in the middle, and they're okay. If you were up in a helicopter looking down, just standing there like Superman looking down, it would look like Iron Man's chest reactor, the circle with the line. You know what I'm saying?
It's weird over there.
Well,
weird.
it's all built in,
Yeah. No,
especially
I
over
agree with
here,
you.
and where the energy is like darker.
It is.
I don't
weird.
even
No,
mean to
because
say that
even when,
this is going to come off wrong if I
even
continue.
when we take our walks, we avoid walking that way.
Yeah,
We
the
don't
energy
walk that
seems
way.
weird and different in places where it's extra crowded, right? And it's not as taken care of.
I think that's why the energy is weird.
And
'cause
then
that place was
That's where they
abandoned.
stack people in giant buildings. And then you're like, ugh, like, what is this? Like, it's right on top of everything. I'm like, how do you breathe here? I complain all day long. You walk out this front door, there's the back of that house, that house, that house. And they're three floors. So you got like 9 windows looking directly at me. And then this guy's garage. So when they have a little party or whatever, you walk out your front door, sit down in your underwear or something in your yard, and everyone just sees everything.
He's not in his underwear.
Well, you know, my morning attire.
Mm.
It's all set up that way on purpose, right? And you'd be like, well, I don't know. It's maybe who claimed property and ran. I'm like, man, look at the names of what everything's named. The blocks are named from the beginning and see how the lines run. And then you see how the energy lines run when you bring up ley lines on the planet, and you just overlaid it on each other and you can see for yourself
Yeah.
where it's congestion. and those points, it's almost like those portals, those negative portals have more stuff on it so they could build the misery factor in there. Like, I don't want to get too dark with it, but I feel that when I walk around, there's some spots right when you get on Morris Park where the block, it's like the houses go from, you can drive a car into
Oh, on your
one
side of the
driveway,
parkway, yeah. My
right,
side of the
into the
parkway is
back,
not as
and two
congested
houses
as
share
yeah.
with a big giant open double backyard, right? And then you get closer to the avenue, and then you get that whole backyard area, same thing, but then there's no way to drive a car down because it's only like it's got to be a foot and a half to 2 feet sometimes.
Yeah, the Astor family owned all that land. Yeah, and we live on Astor Avenue. Yeah, you're great. You're right.
It's Nick.
You're right. I know that.
What's up, Servos?
I know that.
And he was the one that brought that to my attention, by the way. So bringing it back around to when he showed up for the first time.
Oh yeah.
Nicholas, what's up, kid? Yeah.
Anyway, we have to pull ourselves together tonight.
Okay, so
we have major shit that we have to do tomorrow. Chris, you have an interview, I think.
Oh, so here's a couple things. I'm going to bring this around. We're going to work we've been working backwards. I didn't want to end the show with all this. You could see it looks like I got into a fight. I have black eyes or something. So I wanted to get that out of the way. But so online, I'm friends with I think his name is Will Turbot. I don't want to look it up right now. I don't want to stop the discussion. Okay.
No.
He confronts dirty politicians. Okay. He'll run up to in a suit and tie. He'll walk right up to you with the camera, and he'll say, "Hey, you were caught doing this, this, and this. What do you have to say about that?" Right? It's like he'll just get right in there. And I've seen him go after all these pedophile guys, right, that have all already been in trouble. So there's no speculation on these fools, right? It's just the media doesn't, and the information's out there if you want to go look for it, but they're not going to put it out there that like they would Joe Schmo who gets busted down, trying to get a hooker at 7-Eleven. That guy's taking all of.
You can buy hookers at 7-Eleven.
I don't even know. Is there a 7-Eleven around here? Right? But that guy is getting like, or the guy that pees within 5, like there's a schoolyard and he's on the other side of the schoolyard. It's 12 at night. He's been trying to get to the bathroom. He takes a leak behind a tree, and because he's within the distance to a school, they're like, oh, he gets put on a sex crimes list. And you're like, wait, what? And they're like, well, he revealed himself within the border of this. And it's like, oh, so you're a jerk. Anyone enforcing that ridiculousness is just ridiculous. You're just looking to make money or whatnot. But he would go and confront the real guys, right? Your suit and tie guys in courts, judges, all kinds of weirdo politicians. Anyway, I love watching him. He was on Alex Jones yesterday, and pretty sure it was yesterday.
Yeah, you were watching it.
And I was watching it this morning, and he went at Alex Jones, and I was like, yo, good for you, kid. How did you get a microphone and get on air? Well, I guess that'll be a discussion for tomorrow's interview.
That's right.
Because he hit me up and was like, yo, my dude, I'm a fan of yours. And I was like, what?
Really?
He goes, I love what you do. That's awesome. Right. And I said, are you kidding me? You're fearless, Will. Right. I'm like, you're the guy that does that. But he had Adam Kokesh, who's a buddy of mine, Adam versus the Man. I don't know if he does that anymore, but he's also running for president. Right. Anyway, he's a pretty popular guy. I know him, and we used to hang out at my shows, and whenever we were in town or whatnot, we do each other's stuff. And he had him on. I said, well, you had Adam on. I know him for a long time now. He's the man. I was on Adam at the Man with Stefan Molyneux, which was the worst. I had the worst. I loved all of them, but Stefan, I can't be on with the smartest guy from Canada, the self-proclaimed whatever smart guy. Like, I can't deal with that. I ate a pot brownie and didn't know what was going on at one point. I don't know about any of this stuff, but I'm here to talk this specific. So that was pretty interesting. Anyway, so he asked me, you want to do an interview? I would love to do an interview with you. And I was like, are you sure? This is what I'm all about. And I gave him a little list, and he said, yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. So I said, all right. So it'll allow me to talk one-on-one with someone that understands that specific villainy and evil, because
I don't bring it up too much on the show. I don't want to concentrate all the time. When I say we need to save the children, be careful, it means there's pedophiles raping the children. That's what that means. The sacrificing the children. I try not to get into that. Tomorrow I will get into that in detail with Will if that's where this is going, because I think it is the dark rituals and the black magic and why not. I could do that specific on that. So that's pretty cool. Shout outs to Will. I love you very much, and I will pass that around as soon as it pops up and gets out there. Now, Paula, do you remember what happened a couple of weeks ago? A week ago? Do you remember? I have it written down.
So many things have happened, Frank. You want to give
It's
me
at the top. It's actually the number 2 thing, because one happened first. This actually happened first, but we microdosed.
Oh yeah.
And we got a little bit of a story. Joel, I wasn't. Stefan is awesome, but I wasn't Ayahuasca Frank back then. I was like
conspiracy.
I was like a conspiracy.
Frank.
I was the rapper from Heist Click that was at. I played all the truther functions. I performed in front of the Liberty Bell with my group, with Jordan Page and everybody else, a number of times. And there was just people on the lawn, and everybody's going crazy, all truther music and crazy stuff. You could check my stuff out at Heist Click Music on YouTube.
I don't have any stuff.
You do have stuff. You have almost 200 episodes.
No, I know. I mean, but I don't have any other stuff.
Well, that's all right. Well, down the line, we'll get you in a music video. I try to get it. I want to sample Paula somehow, like just sample her and have her like scratched into the song or something, because she thinks like, oh, I can't do this, or I'm not really like that. But if I get her saying something really cool or right on point, I could just take that and make it work with the music instead of having her try to sing a song with me. So right before our microdose experience, I had a demon attachment that it attached to me, and I didn't know what it was. Right. So I was laying back right here in my chair. I was going through some stuff. It started getting dark, like really dark, but I could feel something moving, like like trying to, and then you'd go from being angry to sad to malicious, but the thoughts in your head, and I'm like, that's not me.
Yeah, those aren't my thoughts.
And then, but you'll kick in and start joining in with that ridiculousness eventually, because you think it's you. So you'd be like, yeah, this really does bother me, and you know, and I laid back and I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to just ground myself. I didn't use anything. I didn't use any crystals, salts, substances, sound, sage, nothing. First time ever was able to pull this thing. How many of you have been running energy through your palms? I got to do it this way, right? Where you're just like, the energy comes out. Reiki people know what I'm talking about. I'll capture whatever's there by running my energy over myself and then stopping where it is. It'll just automatically go. Gotcha. And it'll try to go from here to here. Yep. It'll go into your sinuses. It'll go down your throat, attached to your back. I've had them around. They get in, right? And they dig in, and it takes sometimes Paula plus something to make this go away, with a giant throw up and all kinds of weird things. You know, I went into the shower and pulled this thing out of me, and then I started crying, just crying. It was like a black goo. So it was just like bloop, 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 gone. I could hear it though. And they were like, yo, man, congratulations. And I'm like, congratulate what? And they're like, dude, you just removed a demon.
Yep.
And I said, a demon? It kind of just looked like black goo. And
No.
They were like, dude, that was a demon yelling at you, attached to you, and you were just like, oh, I'm going to get this. Done. And instead of throwing up, purging, I opened my mouth, and I did. People say at ayahuasca ceremonies and during experiences, they'll yawn, but the yawn is something more than a yawn. It's like, it's like guttural and
the
burps. Yeah, it feels like your jaw disconnects and you're purging layers of if you were to see what's coming out of you, it looks like something's piling out of your face. And you're like, where's that coming from? And they're like, dude, think of you being a tightwad, right? For 20 years of your life. That cranked that energy in, and it just compacted it. You just rolled it in, bong, 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 bong. That's why when you'll get rid of stuff and then have to get rid of it again, you'll be like, I thought I went through this. They're like, you have so much. This is why I tell people, do the hard work. It's so worth it to do, because you won't be infected. You won't be the infected one, right? You'll become the observer. You'll become this is what we talk about, rising. We're not floating up in the air, right? Your awareness becomes off the charts. So you notice everything in the details, and it never ends. So as you go up in scale, it just expands. And as you go down, it expands. It's the same thing. So as you look into the details, there's more detail. There's never not any details. You think, I got it all. Oh, yeah? Okay, now you're the villain.
Right.
See, from his perspective. And I'm like, well, he's got a whole lifetime of his perspectives. And it's like, oh, you want to understand this? This is what you have to do. It's like, well, I don't want to do that. It's like, yeah, well, do you want that stuff in you? Because that's what it turned into.
Right.
You pulled it in.
Pick it.
And then it's mind control. Get it? Like, they try to keep it simple sometimes. I'm from the Bronx. Sometimes I got to be like, I don't know. What is that I'm looking? Oh, so that's what that is. Oh, okay. Or, I can't. Oh, hey, let me ask you a question. And they're like, oh, you're not crying no more, right? Get yourself together, man.
Yep.
Right? It's crazy. Yeah. And then each full moon cycle or each new moon cycle or whatever, I only go through 2 full moons a year where I feel great. Every other one is like a disgusting purge. So shout outs to Robert Hawley.
Oh yeah, he was awesome.
He was awesome the other day.
Yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday. So this is another thing. So the universe is showing me other things, right? So I couldn't get Kali out of my mind. I love Kali, right? But it's like she's Kali to you, right? And then you're like, whoa. And then these experiences will happen. And then eventually you're like, I don't see Kali no more. I love her, but I don't see her. I see this other thing now, or this other being. But when I need Kali and I call to her, I become it. And it's like, well, yeah, you can do the same thing.
Right.
So it's almost like you're spending time with her to learn to do what she does with the energy, because she's the avatar of that energy. And then when you call to Kali inside, you don't go externally, you'll get a demon flying right into your face. You be like, Kali, and then you become the Kali. I do it with Shiva all the time. Your abundance, right? I met Lakshmi, and she said to me the first thing, she said, oh, you never asked me for anything. And I says, why would I ask you for anything? She goes, well, because I'm abundance. Like, I'm literally abundance. So I said, so you're the energy of abundance. And she explained the avatar thing and all that. But yes, they were real beings as well. And they are, but this is where they're at. So they're masters of that. Right? Remember, we're also trapped inside of the 4D thing. Yep. Right? So here was another thing. I have this thought that as you add legs to a creature, right? So the cat has 4 legs. We have 2 legs. Now, we're creators, so it's a little weird with us. We're like the God cell walking around. But as you put legs on a creature or a being, they seem to be rocking in that they can rock in that area. So there would be all cats, all dogs would be like 4D creatures. They're all about abundance and love and running up to you with love, being with you, right? No, everything about that is like what would happen in 4D. Like we say the cats can see and all that. What are they seeing? They're seeing everything else we're not seeing. Well, what's there? 4D, 5D. So it's just what you can tune into. So what frequency are they turning into? Then you
They-
have spiders, and then you have hyper intelligent spiders that are up in the high frequencies, and you're like,
Right.
what is this? So you have the 8-legged dude
Eight
there,
legs,
and
yeah.
and
I
he's
see what
like,
you're saying
and
now.
he's
I
sitting
get
there
it,
on
I
a
get it,
throne,
I get
or
it.
she's sitting there as the over mother spider.
Heightened awareness. Yeah.
Hyper.
heightened
So you're
awareness.
their little skin suits or whatever you
Mhm.
want to call them, what they're wearing is connected to those frequencies automatically,
Right.
right? Like animals tend to know when you're coming home, and
Right. Mhm.
you're like a mile away still. What is that? They're rocking on that higher
Yeah,
frequency.
because they know you're thinking about them.
Yes. So where is that thought level perceived? 4D, 5D, 6D, 7. Like it's up there. We're here to communicate that out loud, and we're surrounded by it. And we're going to control it, and we're going to let it out. But right now, it's a communication thing, right? But on the other side, right there, and it's at the other side. It's right here. The
Yeah, it's
next
right
step
here, right here.
is just going.
Yep.
I'm coming home, and the dog's like, "Oh, I better get to
Okay.
the door.
I'll be here.
I can't wait." Jumping in, you're like, how does this dog know every day? It's going to get to the point where you know, not from routine.
We know.
I know.
Like I text you.
Buddy
When are you coming home? And you're
appears
like,
when I turn the
I
corner.
know that.
He
I
comes
know,
out and he just goes.
I know.
I'm like,
I know,
how
it's
does
very
this
true.
little tiny animal know that I'm up on the next block by the train station coming around?
Psychically connected to you.
Yeah. Well, okay. So we'll on this next level, it'll just be a full gnosis of that. It's not going to be like, well, Frank might be assuming that maybe the cat has extra sensory smell and could just smell him because he's wearing. No. You're going to literally feel that, understand it inside and out. And just the way I'm telling you this, you're going to be just doing that. We're all going to be doing it.
Right.
But if it's going to start somewhere, it's going to start with the animal. So when you're rocking
They
with
already
an animal,
know how to do it.
yeah.
We're the
Okay, here's another thing.
How to do it.
So let's talk about intelligent creatures for a second. So you had a spider at your house when you had her home
Yeah, my spider.
that actually listened to her.
Yeah, in the bathroom.
Now, every time I'm on the other side and there's a spider, right? It's either kind of bad, neutral, or good, like a dog, or like it's not bothering you, or they attack you.
Well, what about those spiders that ate all that energy? Those were good spiders.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm saying.
Black and purple ones.
Yes. So, but here's the thing. They all communicate with you, no matter what they are. The higher ones will literally look at you and talk to you and be like, bro, did you not think? Da, 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 da. And the lower ones, the ones that'll attack you, they'll eat you and attack you, and they'll go, we're eating you and attacking you because we don't like you because oh, so you're like hyper intelligent as well. You're just like on the step up from us in that uniform. So you're even more advanced because you can see what's going on. It's like you guys can perceive with all those different eyes, all the different layers that we're not even seeing. And which is why you're able to react to all this stuff.
Right.
And we're going, how does it know? It must feel it on the wind and blah, blah, blah. How does Spider-Man's spider sense work? How about he can connect to his higher self, see you coming a minute away, except Spider-Man himself doesn't understand. He just knows, well, in 1 minute, something's coming, better move.
Right.
And then you're like, why can I never get this guy? Like, I can't get him. I never get him. How does he know? And it's like, well, my spider sense goes off. What do you think that is? Let's talk about that. If we were sitting in a spider web and it went bling, okay, it vibrates through the whole web. Spider knows you're on the web. Now jump out of that and get into a larger room. Your cat knows that you're home from a block away. Your dog knows you're coming home from a mile away. What are you plucking on, right? That you see the spider from across the room, you think, I'm going to punch that spider right in his face, but I'm not going to let him know. I'm just going to kind of walk by him, and he's already gone. What do you think? He's just visually seeing you? There's so much more attack. You're in his place. Even though he's in your house, it's like you're on my turf because it's etherically connected to a web as well. It's the web that connects all of us. I think it's the same thing.
That spider in my house.
Listen to her. You got to hear this.
I left water out on the sink for her, and she said I knew she was gonna die, and I said, just die here. And she did. Before she died, she said, you're gonna lose everything, but your abundance is coming. And I had just met Frank, and then I had to sell my house, and then I did lose everything. But I understand what she meant by abundance, because I mean, there has been an abundance of everything: happiness, love, all these rescues. We've come together as a family, like taking care of his grandmother this year, 2019. 2019 was a rough year, but like we feel very strong. Like we got through a lot of things in 2019 together. Wouldn't you say, Frank?
Yeah.
You know, like
The more that
we, you know, a lot, just a lot happened this year.
it was like 5 years to 10 years worth of stuff happening in rapid succession in
Weird,
one
so weird.
squeezed yeah, just squeezed
Yeah,
in.
it's a 1 year. Yeah,
That's why I
it's
feel like
almost over.
we're talking about taking it on the chin. Well, the spider with me, you said don't kill that spider.
Oh yeah, don't
So when
kill
I was
any
in there,
spider.
no, but the one in
Yeah.
your
Oh,
bathroom,
the little one in the
well, it wasn't that little.
bathroom.
I was going to the bathroom, it came out, and I said, "Oh, spider." I
Yeah.
was sitting with my phone like this, just like everyone else, and I just, "Oh, spider, I'm not supposed to kill you, and I don't want to kill you. I'm ayahuasca's,
Yeah.
I'm a favorite. It's all good. You're safe here with me. Just do not bite me. Don't climb on me. Don't freak me out. But we could hang out together." And it started drinking the water,
Yeah. Then I left a little water.
and I'm like, "Wait a second." And then it was just and you could feel,
Mhm.
because people get scared right away, so that frequency goes off, that
Mhm.
vibration. So you're sitting in fear while you're going to the bathroom, and you're like, "Ah!" I don't do that
I
no more.
forgot about that.
I have none of that no more. I
I
don't like
forgot
jump
about
up
that.
and freak out and go. There's something that has clicked after all this work and patience and time and effort and energy I'm putting in to make my awareness go up to even see that the spider sitting next to me having a drink on the toilet is now having like that, this weird thing happen where it's like, oh, he's my
You're having
buddy.
a moment. Yeah.
Okay, every fly that's come in this house,
Oh yeah,
we've
we've all
offered it.
shooed them out. Yeah.
I've killed a couple, but what I do in the beginning is I go, you got one shot. Here's my offer. Open the window or open the door and
Door.
get out.
Yeah.
A lot of times they act really, they fly all over the place. And I'll go to the door and a bunch of them will come out with me. The one that stays, I get one of them and I go, that's what's going to happen because we had a little bit of a problem at one point. And then every, every single insect in this home that came into this home, I caught every single one
Mhm.
in this
Let
little
out.
jar and let it out. After that, no problems, like none. I'm like, how is this happening? And they're like, and we had an ant problem when we were first here,
Oh, I remember that.
right?
Yeah, peppermint. Yeah.
Yeah, we used some peppermint, and then I went outside and I was like, man, I don't know what to do. I had this little ritual thing on the lawn, and they were like, look, everyone needs a little love, so you got to spread it around a bit. I was like, oh, all right, everyone gets fed, so there's always extra out there, and that keeps them out of the house. That was it. It was that simple. And I go, all this time, and then we talked about on the show meeting. Well, I met the ant beings
Mhm.
when I was under. I saw they were
Mhm.
talking to me and they were friendly, but it was one of the weirdest experiences. They were like, hey, thanks. And I'm like, well, so when I'm in nature, so I'm cool with the ant, cool with the spider, cool with the dog, cool with the cat. I met all these beings that are attached to that. And they're like, well, you're going through the DNA list to remember what's going on here,
I
because
think so. Yeah.
every one of those things, those beings on
Is a
this
part of
end
you.
is
Yeah.
a being that'll stand up and be like, what's up? Yes, spaceships, lasers, and sharks with things on their backs. Yes. Oh, so one of the things Paul and I were discussing, and I'll get back to them. I guess we'll work a little backwards because this is going to fit perfect.
Okay.
Chimeras, right?
Oh
Do you all
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah,
Um, uh, do you know what a chimera is? Right, the half man, half animal type thing. Werewolves and transforming.
yeah. Yeah,
Could
pig
transform to
headed
a half.
man. Yeah.
Yeah, like the centaur, the half horse, half human, things like that. So they're making a big comeback, huh? So the more I get into this, once again, we're gonna talk about what's in the pop culture, right? Ninja Turtles, chimeras, right? Lizard, they're little lizard men that run around and do kung fu,
Turtle man.
right? They're little turtles. But then on the other end, they're fighting an interdimensional spider brain looking thing that controls AI robots here.
And their mentor is a rat.
and their mentor is a rat.
It's a rat.
That's a kung fu expert, right? And
Right.
not to mention every other. Bebop and Rocksteady were the two ones, the rhinoceros, and the other one's the warthog. Now we laugh at that. We're like, oh, that's pretty funny. Ha, ha, ha. And we watched Hellboy again the other night. It's on
Mhm.
HBO.
Oh,
And we
yeah.
talked about this when it came out and we saw it. The monster in the movie, one of the monsters, they're
Mhm.
all chimeras in that movie.
Mhm.
Every one of them. He's a demon. The girls that like us, like the shaman chick, and then it gets into Abe Sapien, the aqua guy, this guy, that guy. Everybody's, and they just call them monsters. They just group it all together and say, yep, elementals and all that. So there's like a piggy in the movie. He's really small at first, and Hellboy stopped. He wanted to. They stole a baby, the fairies, and then wanted and replaced the baby with this baby, and it was under a magic spell, and it was really this pig boy, right? It was like a little chimera, like a little Scooby-Doo looking thing. And then the lady enchants it, and it gets gigantic, and it's running around eating people and beating the hell. It's just so we watch Ninja Turtles going, yeah, they're so cute and everything. And then you watch that and you go, okay, so now
What's the difference?
they're showing you the DNA mixing guys, right? You're watching Star Wars,
Well,
right?
same
Every
thing, yeah.
every single ET group is there. There's the one that looks like a demon. All last week, Clancy Brown played the demon looking guy. He's not a demon. He's just that's his race of people,
Mhm.
right? So they're showing you like they're big and strong, and they have giant horns on their head, and these guys play the flute, and you have the big bulbous heads. Everyone's got spaceships and does things.
But that's it. Well, that's what makes like that show, The Mandalorian,
the
so good.
Baby Yoda,
Yeah.
okay, another one, DNA mixed into a little lizard being. So on one end you get on the Mandalorian, they have Baby Yoda, right? So Baby Yoda on this end's cute and all that, right? And on the other end, they're giant 15-foot giants that walk around and just do what they want. We were talking about Suicide Squads coming out.
Yeah, not as cute. Yeah.
So in Suicide Shark, this guy on the Flash TV show called King Shark.
Yeah.
This guy takes his genetics, splices them with a shark, thinking he's going to cure himself of all kinds of diseases, whatever. Becomes half man, half shark, but he's like 20 feet tall. So he's basically a shark head on a guy's body. He's ripped and muscular with the shark head, and he just runs around eating people. So in the comic, he's just running around, you're punching him in the face, and they're like, wow, he's big, da-da-da. You put him on the screen and with a guy, and you're like, oh, that's why he's a problem. He's literally able to grab you and just shove you in this giant mouth. Then you hear the stories of giants that would eat men. 6 fingers, 6 toes, sharp teeth, 20 feet tall, taking there's stories about this everywhere. So you just look into whatever you want, whatever direction you want. You'll find, you just throw a rock out there and there's a story about something like this that did something like that.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Oh, what did the giants do? Well, they came into your camp, ate the women and children.
Absolutely. There's a story for all of it. Absolutely.
So we're watching this thing in the movie do that. And I'm like, look at this now. So then I'm like, Paula, Infinity War with the Avengers, Thanos. What is Thanos? Anunnaki. 15 feet tall, purple, humanoid, just peak of the DNA structure, the smartest guy, the strongest guy, the most capable guy, like just, like mind blowing. And then he shows up and he's like, my creations. And he just snaps you out of existence, right? And you're like, oh, okay. Then you watch Aliens, the new sect of Alien. I can't remember all the names, but they have the guys that created the aliens were those Anunnaki. They're 15 feet tall, bald, jacked out of their mind. They might be bigger than, I think the guy was 20 feet tall. When they were sitting around him in his chair, they were all able to stand around it. So it's there the whole time. Now, I think they're breaking I believe 100%, because now we're getting flooded with it. So this King Shark guy is going to be in the new Hero movie with the Suicide Squad. So he's going to be running around. I think they're preparing you. They've been slicing it in at all layers and levels.
They're preparing us, making us comfortable with seeing what we're seeing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So some beings, and specifically, I'm going to say this about the reptilians. Not all reptilians are bad. Naturally, it's a small percentage that's really, really rough. And then most of the base layer of this entire universe has reptilian DNA in it. So that means there's you know, it's a small problem and a great group of people, but at the same time, they'll push the agenda. So when the reptilian thing comes out, you've seen them in Jupiter Ascending. That's kind of what it looks like. Just take the wings off it. The white ones have wings, and they're like little dumb wings. I'm like, that's ridiculous that you even have that. I would think of that as a rejected thing that your body has, and then that worshipping you over it. And I think that's just a big control trick because you control trick everyone else. Why wouldn't you do it to your own peeps anyway? It's all mind control on every layer and every level. So in Captain Marvel, the villains, the Skrulls, right? They're heroes. We just our world and we ran away, and they could shapeshift and transform and get into the government. They do all kinds of crazy things, but they're the good guys in this movie. The other guys that are like, yes, I do. They're humanoid, and they're just a different color. They're different color. Everyone's just a different color. Once you hit in the universe, it's just whatever there is. But they're all humanoid guys from their planet. Those guys follow an AI brain that has downloaded all of the best minds that have ever lived on their civilization, and they've come to stop the other guys, but they're the villains in the movie. But in the comic books for like 60 years, it was reversed. The reptilians were the evil ones. Then you have the Snake Men in Conan. I mean, G.I. Joe, one of the greatest cartoons ever. I don't care what anyone says, hands down, one of the greatest cartoons ever. Right? Knowing is half the battle and all that stuff. That was great when I was a kid. But then you watch it now, you're like, bro, this is a little bit adult. Because G.I. Joe, the movie, what happens? DNA, inner earth beings show up and start beating the hell out of everyone.
Yep.
Right? So G.I. Joe is being chased by Cobra in the Antarctic mountainside, and everything's collapsing around them, and they go into this tunnel and they don't know what's going on. And then these insect men and the plants attack them. The environment goes nuts. Some guy that looks like a fallen angel shows up and starts. This guy Nemesis Enforcer beats everyone half to death, right? While their lord Serpentor, who is part man, part snake, and then this guy Globulus, who's literally got the snake. He's got the torso that just goes into the snake, just like Medusa. Then you have Medusa right there. So these things are running around. They've always been there. They're just disguised as other things inside of our pop culture. It's just gotten so rampant now. And you know what? Maybe I'm just more aware of it now. And it's just always been there. Because no matter where I'm looking,
It has always been
in my
there, but
past, it's
now
just
you're
always there.
connecting it. You're connecting the dots. Why has it always been there? Because they're making us comfortable to get down.
So the alien movies, those aliens in the regular Alien movie look like these demonic interdimensional beings that you've seen on the side of some architecture. Naturally, it's Catholic Church, but you could look it up. Just type in architecture of alien, the aliens, you know, on churches, and you'll see them there. And they predate the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Naturally, when I went under, they came right through this door right here. And they started arguing with me about contracts. And I'm like, the aliens from the aliens, you guys are real? And then I realized what they were. I'm like, oh, they're intelligent insectoid creatures that are really dark. But they're like, you're contracted to do this, man. This thing was pleading with me. It was huge. You would have been like, are you kidding me? And I'm like, okay, check it out. We'll go into the court of law right now. I'll argue this point with you. Not only are there no contracts, if I ever see you here again, I'm going to end everything I can get into that has to do with you. Everything. I'm going to make it my business to go into your business. And they're like, oh, no, you're not contracted to do that. And I go, oh, yeah, but I am now. You want some? And they're like, no. And we work through it. It's not goofy in any way. It's frightening to my core. Go ahead. But I get so sick of dealing with that nonsense, right? Each structure, each character, each new thing. And so they've been there the whole time, right? So then you have Guardians of the Galaxy, the Golden Race, right? They build a character in that movie, Guardians of the Galaxy 2. There's a pod character that they don't show. I think I will name him Adam. The golden people that are gorgeous looking. They take their DNA and they launch it into perfection, absolute perfection, and grow this guy. His name is Adam Warlock, and he becomes the most powerful being in the known universe, right? He becomes a guy that could actually guard the Infinity Gauntlet. You're like, what the hell is this? So what is the Infinity Gauntlet when you have all the stones?
Mhm.
It's anything you want. So it's instant manifestation. What is the golden glowing
If
race?
you can handle it.
It's you.
If you can handle it.
And then what is
it
the
could
Adam
be.
Warlock? The ultimate creator. It's the Jesus character from Marvel Universe, right? Well, who's that guy based on? Tick tock. Come on. Who's it based on? It's based on you. It's based on me. He's the DNA enhanced being that is aware of the whole thing. And it's genetics of that, part human and part this thing and part that, all the best parts of their race and everything else with the DNA chain to be the golden glowing creature. It looks similarly just like us when we're on the other side, out of our bodies. You know, my grandmother, when she appeared, she was in that dress glowing and stuff. And I was like, whoa, this is pretty crazy. By the way, shout outs to Aaron. He posted a picture of a GIF online of, they're like the moving picture that glows and glitters and everything. And it had, like the Lakshmi looking lady.
Yeah, in the middle.
In the middle, and
Yeah,
it was
that's
like
what it
coming,
looked
and I
like,
said,
yeah.
that's what my grandmother was
Looked
dressed.
like, yeah.
That's the dress she
Mhm,
was wearing. It was like
mhm.
roped around here like this. It was kind of green and golden, and it's the exact same thing from this gift, and it's shining. And I'm like, yeah, it didn't have all that shiny stuff behind it, but there were swirls of energy everywhere. So we're hovering over this, or it's hovering. Our awareness is right about to take the big bite of the cookie that you've been wanting the whole time. You want that flavor with the multiple layers. You're about to break through that because we've been chomping away on the outer side, and we're about to get to that creamy filling. Okay, so check this out. Paula and I did something really cool. Not to jump, but it's time to. Paul Stamets, right? He's been on Joe Rogan. He's the mushroom grower guy. Okay.
Oh yeah.
He has a product, and I'm not pumping his products. I'm not getting anything from this. I'm going to just say it's regular mushrooms. It's not psychedelics in any way. Reishi mushrooms and cordyceps mushrooms. And okay, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go natural. I'm going to try this because it's not a vitamin. It's literally mushrooms ground up, your daily essential amount that you would need in your body every single day. So I said, I'm going to buy 4 bottles and I'm going to put myself on this regimen. And Paula joined me. She just joined in. One of them helps. They literally all have like just mixtures of each other in it.
Mhm.
And then some are like specific,
I love
just
them.
the one thing. It's called like Breathe. So when I
I
take
love
it,
them.
I the first day
Mhm.
I felt like my blood was eating it, and I felt right before you start tripping, if you eat a mushroom, your body feels weird for a second. And I've asked about this. I'm like, what is that transitional weirdness that I'm going through? They're like, you're not used to that, but that's you activating. And then when you start seeing everything, that's you tuning in and turning on, where it's just like pressing the power up and you going like that. So when you're in that weird moment and you're like kind of, oh, this is weird. They're like, you live in that and can control that though. And I've had moments where I could control it. I've had moments where there's just
They're amazing. I mean, it does something to your appetite. Like that.
because
That's
it's
like a side
food.
effect. Yeah.
It's actual
It's
food
weird.
that your body
Yeah.
wants, right? Or we're
Mhm.
so the mushrooms have told me numerous times we're your closest relative. We're literally you, right? So when you look at a mushroom while you're under, not only does a mushroom look like us wearing a hat, right? And it looks like other things as well. It's like it's just the whole thing. If a mushroom grew out of the ground and just kept growing into a person, you'd go, oh yeah, I could see that. Right? Like, what if we just grew that way, up out of the ground or on a tree branch or something, and you started with this weird thing with a weird cap, and then you got taller, and that cap thing became like hair, and then arms sprouted out or whatever, whatever you would need inside that environment. That's literally you. We're made of that. So they took that when they created these bodies, and they're like, it's the living library. It's what connects us. Those pathways and everything that look like neural pathways. I can't explain it. There's just so many, and you're connected right to them. So upon eating this, our bodies reacted to it. Wonderful. My breathing has gotten 100% better in days. I can't explain it. I can't. It just feels right, right? And then it gives you like a really weird boost.
Clarity.
Like
just a very strange. Just you feel clear and on, and almost like when you take better than when you take magnesium. When you take magnesium and it gives you focus, yeah, it's like focus, clarity. It's
Yeah.
just amazing.
So I would suggest, trying it, but
Trying it, yeah.
I'm gonna do 30 days on this straight, and I'm gonna keep talking about it.
I got them this morning.
Yeah, you came out and
Yeah.
handed me them
Mhm.
because they're not vitamins, and that's what's the best part. It's just what your body needs and what it desires. And we'll get to the microdose thing in a minute, but it's like we just need to get in to your body. Once you get the good stuff in, your body just everything else is handled. It doesn't matter the amount. It's just that you're just putting it. It's going to take 100% of what it needs when it's 100% of what it wants, right? So it just puts you in the positive direction. One of the other things I have to talk about with you, Crisis on Infinite Earths, it's the other comic book TV show thing I left out, and I can't because this is the most important one.
Crisis on Infinite Earth. So that was
It's a crossover of
Arrow, Flash, Legends, Black Lightning, Batgirl, Supergirl crossover.
and it has everyone
Did I
that's
miss-
ever
Did
been.
I miss a show?
I don't think so. Everyone
Okay.
that's ever been in a DC show has been reconnected through this one event over 5 nights.
They even tied in Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
And they tied in
the original
tied in
Batman.
a couple. The original Batman, and they did a cameo from the original Flash, which was nice.
John Wesley Shipp.
Yes, the original Flash.
He's awesome, by the way.
Now, I've been hanging in with Frank watching these shows since we met in the last couple of years.
They've been trash.
Ridiculous.
Teeny trash it turned into.
They've dumbed it down. Oh, they even put in Lucifer, who is now owned by Netflix, and I love that show. And
yes,
they tied it all in, and I totally loved it. Now, like I said, I've been hanging in with Frank watching these shows in the last couple of years. I think they've dumbed down. They've all gotten very they're going for a specific audience. They don't want an older audience. But I've been hanging in with Frank watching them. So now Crisis comes. So it's a what is it, a 5-show crossover?
It's a 5-show crossover that has to do with the multiverse, right? So in DC universe, that's what Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, those guys. There's 52 different Earths. So there's a multiverse. And some characters, there's only one of you in the multiverse, and other characters,
there's 52 of
there's 52 of you. So the whole place, the Monitor and the Anti-Monitor are going to war. So it's the Monitor would be like what our universe is made of. Then there's the negative universe, and it's what the Anti-Monitor is made of. And he gets the anti-life equation, right? And he's running through the universe, and it's just a wave. This is why it's important. It's a wave of pink and purple energy that comes through and destroys the universe, Earth by Earth by Earth, and then comes into each dimension. So in the multiverse, there's only one Monitor and one Anti-Monitor, right? So they're like battling on the chessboard. So the Anti-Monitor goes and recruits a bunch of beings, notably, the screw jobs that are going to screw everyone over. And that's one team. And the other team is Flash, Arrow, multiple Supermen.
Yeah, and it was really good. I mean, we've only seen 3 episodes?
Yes.
And then the next 2 episodes are after
the
winter break.
Yes.
It was a really good show.
So the point of this, we love Lucifer, the show Lucifer too. I think it's funny as hell, and as long as you know what you're watching, you can have fun with pretty much anything you want. So, this was the point to the whole thing. So it's the multiverse collapsing into one,
right?
Into the singularity, because that's what's really happening.
What's happening now?
And the pink light is washing over the planet. So it's like people like to push the destructive nature of the event, right? A said event,
right?
Where the energy comes out of the sun, and so the powers that be will have you believe it's a day of reckoning, not a day of upliftment, right? So they put it in everything. It's in everything. So they're trying to outrun the wave of energy that's coming. In their world, it's destructive, but it's also creating the singularity. It's taking the best of the best and putting them. And when you view this, when you see the Superman and the Green Arrow and this, that's all you.
a metaphor.
It's a metaphor for you. All the best parts activate and turn on. And if you notice, there's probably like 13 of them running around at any
Because
time.
they're trying to stop
They keep
this
the numbers
wave,
right.
and we're just lifting our hands and going with the wave.
Yes,
right. We're going with it.
you have to be Silver Surfer and ride the wave.
Ride the wave.
You can't be in fear of running
Try to
from.
ride
So
it.
everyone that runs, by the way, their world gets destroyed,
Mhm.
right? And they're like, but I want to bring it back. And I have
That
the
is
book of
what's gonna
destiny
happen.
and I
The-
could write it back into the book. And they're
old
like,
world
no.
is going to be destroyed. The old way of thinking is done. You can't go back to it.
Right. That's the point of
You
it.
can never go back from where you were 30 days ago.
We can't go back to yesterday, right?
You can't.
We can't
It's
go back
already
to the beginning of the
gone.
show.
It's done. It's already done. Can't go back. You can only move forward from this point.
Yes.
And now this one.
So now they're literally telling us, they're telling the kids, they're getting everyone riled because when you see this, whenever it is, right, they try to control the narrative. It's so for all these teeny shows after the last couple of years just really sucking, there's just terrible, having good moments here and there, but just being terrible. They put all the quality, all the effort, and all the energy just into these 5 episodes. And they, as you watch it, all you see is everything that we talk about here, right? They have to go to John Constantine, and then he's got to try to pull the soul back to the body, but you're not supposed to do that because the body's been dead. You have to let him become what he is to become, and he's going to become this other thing. I don't want to spoil anything, but meanwhile, they're trying everything and doing this, and it's like every time you fight that flow, you get taken right out. They had a thing on there where Arrow had to relive the day over and over and over and over and over, and then he's like, what the hell is this about? He's like, you don't get it. Your destiny, you came here literally to do this. You have choices along the way to do whatever, but this is the end game. They keep making it like it's the end of all things. But then, okay, so people that don't watch this don't know what happens. Well, what happens after that pink energy wipes everything out? Well, they stop it from wiping out one spot. And from that one spot, all the guys that in the comic book, they wanted these guys because those were the cool ones everybody wanted together. They all get their own book now because there's Earth 1. And then what happens? The Speed Force pops back up. Then this pops back up, right? Sometimes Superman's a baby in that world and he just landed. Boom, that pops up. And you go, wait, what's going on here? And then bloop, 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 multiverse. It just respawns itself perfectly. And what happens? All the heroes are all connected at that point because they know it all exists and they can travel back. There was none of this in the beginning, and now what is it? It's just portals. Either they're fighting through time, or they're just walking through a portal and going to Earth 2, Earth 5, Earth 36, and getting the characters from there to help with their problems. And I'm like, what is going on here? This is like really what's going on, except minus all the superheroes. You just take the superheroes out and make that you waking up into your awareness, right? And it becomes your destiny to take charge of your inner self, to control yourself, to when these moments happen, you don't go and freak out. You don't flip out. It's not the end of the world. You become in a controlled, this is what I think happened today when I was walking around. I didn't freak out. I haven't punched the wall. I haven't kicked anything. I cried for like an hour. It was really bad. But I don't know. I feel different. I feel like this hollow tube in me where my emotions could lash out and whip out at everything, but I'm in full. I don't even know. I guess I'm in control of it, or I'm just at ease with it. Maybe not control, but there is a little control, but it's just coming in and out. It's like an open pipe, top to bottom. Everything's spinning properly. And then when I get caught up in something, it's like, I don't really want to be there. So I'm right here. It's okay to feel bad. Just don't live in it. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm so sad. And so are you? Are you? You've been crying. You cried. You let it out. Yeah, it's all right to be sad. But you're going to be sad all day. You got 100 other million things to do. Yes, I understand it's sad and you need your moment. Take it. Absorb it. But what about everything else? Don't let it fracture the structure of everything else. Because that's a problem. Oh, who's that? 3B?
I don't know.
Yeah, does it matter? Send him in. Sorry, I'm very comic book heavy at this part of the show tonight. I can only talk from my level of awareness and what I'm watching and what I'm seeing. They're just presenting it. It's like, do they know it? Are they pulling it out of the ether, or they really know? And within that knowledge, they tweak it and mess with it and go and put it in. But for those guys that are writing the movies and this, that just, it's almost like it comes to them divinely, but is only allowed to show certain things on screen. And then it's represented to you. And then the guy that created it originally, you go, well, I originally meant for this to look like a circle, but they had to make it a square for the movie, because then to them, they said it didn't make sense. It was like the way they had to present it to you. So it's like, well, whoever did that part is they took the footage and built it for you as a vehicle to have you programmed a certain way, to feel a certain way, to act a certain way. That's why when you go see a movie where people are crying and lovey-dovey and everything, you go there to cry and be lovey-dovey, right? That you go there for specifically thank you, to share that emotion, because that's what you're going there for. You go to a scary movie, you want to jump out of your seat. It's scary. I go to see Avengers. I was crying in the theater when Captain America picked up the hammer, Thor's hammer, and he was worthy, right? Like, I was just watching it and going, this is amazing. Like, I wasn't connected. I was just watching. Mm-hmm. And then everyone comes out of the portals and started fighting. And I was instantly 6 years old, 7 years old, and it was real. I was sitting there and they were there with me, and they came to the rescue and did it.
Because you're seeing the story that you read come to life.
Yeah. Most amazing thing to me. I don't care what anyone says. For me, it's beautiful. But that's the story of us, right? The Avengers, all the different characters and all that. That's you. It's you. Silver Surfer, Superman, the Jor-El, right? From the other planet, Krypton, that exploded, and they came all the way here from all the way over there. What does he do? He charges up in the sun and gets his energy. It's us at the high level. High level. So,
I've gotten up about 33 times now.
Yeah, you're just making an even 436. All right. So now I guess we'll do the microdose. Okay, let me kind of interview you, and then you, when you're ready to story it, can just talk about your experience. Totally. So I came out of the shower after the demon incident and said, "Hey, you want to microdose, maybe?"
I said yes.
And she just goes, "Yeah, I think it's a great idea." I was like, "Oh." And when I was in the shower, they were saying to me, my guides, my higher self, "What you do is got to get in. We'll do the rest." That's all we want to do. Now, this was the date. It wasn't 12/12. It was 12/11, right? Because the next day was 12/12. And I had this feeling. Oh, this is what I said. Man, I need some more shrooms so I can make sure, I'm a shaman. I got to have my little shaman bag and this and that. And they were like, "Man, you didn't finish the ones you have." Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Wait, what?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but there's not as much." And they're like, "It doesn't matter. Like, don't be a greedy, And I was like, "Hey, mushrooms have an interesting way of dealing with people. They're way more direct than I am sometimes. They'll say to you, 'You're a dummy. Wake up, because you're a dummy.'" Right? So Paula says, "Yeah, let's do this." So I'm like, "All right." So literally, she had like 0.25, which is perfect microdose. I had like 0.45. And you would laugh at me. You would say to me, "That shouldn't even affect you in any way, shape, or form."
That's what you said to me. You laughed at me. You were like, "That's not going to do anything." Remember? You were like,
"Well, it's a microdose.
You want to take a little bit more?" And I said, "No, that's what I want. I picked what I wanted. That's what I want."
Yes.
And the shit hit the fan.
So let me tell you. So just like with Aya and Paula having just this much Aya, and then the 7-hour experience where you'd be like, "What?" Where the people are drinking a cup of the same thing and coming out in 4 hours, 5 hours. She just like, "Whoa." So they've said it doesn't matter really the amount. Once you're open, you're open. It's what we need or what you need, right? Not what you want. And we need, which is your higher self looking back at you to get you. And then what happened to you? Because it started with you first. And take a minute, think about it, because I freaked out. I was like, whoa.
I needed to get under the blankets. I was waiting for Frank.
Well, you were on the couch first saying, it's hitting me hard. And I was like, no, it's not.
No, it's not. And I said, I can't move. And I had a blanket over me and I had to go completely under the blanket.
I had to, yeah, I was doing dishes and taking out garbage,
Yeah,
doing
Frank
all kinds
was-
of things. I
Frank-
didn't stop moving for an hour.
Frank likes to nest. So when he took his, he started nesting. He started cleaning up, making sure everything was in order. You know, he does this thing, it's weird. And then everything was in order. And he goes, I think I have to lay down. And I said, can I come with you? And he said, of course. And he goes, nothing could be happening to you because you didn't take enough. And I'm like, oh my God, Frank. So we go and we lay down. And it was just.
All right. So I had headphones on, and then I was focused on the garbage. I did all this crazy stuff, and I'm like, man, I feel pretty good. But this internal thing happened where it went from me thinking in my head to it being loud, and I was just like, being quiet was fine. I walking around, I was like on autopilot at one point. And when I stopped, I went, Paula, I'm being pulled down to the bed, just like that, like a dummy. I was like, oh, Paula, I gotta lay in bed. They're telling me you gotta lay down. So I got dragged. Okay. I was like, oh, I don't want to do this. It's kind of like microdose. And they were like, no, you need to get in here now.
Yep, you need to get
You
fixed.
need to lay down now. And I'm like, what is happening? All right. So my visuals went off the chart so fast that I started freaking out. I lay back in the bed, and it looked like stone slabs around me, almost like you locked me in a tomb of some kind. Not you, what I'm just saying you. But there were slabs this way and that way. It was like stones crossed, and I was looking at it, and I'm going, man, what is that? Why am I looking at a rock wall? What is that? And it just slid away. And I hear the rock moving. And I go, what? Wow. It opens, and right there, literally, it's a hole, it's a portal, and it's just a tree on a hillside, and the sun, it's gorgeous. It was almost like a autumny golden everywhere. And I was like, oh my God, hello, KC, this is so beautiful. What is that? And they were like, yo, that's where you're coming. That's here, which is coming to you, and you're going to it. We keep telling you, you're going to merge with that. That's the overlay. That's going to, everybody's going up. That's going to be the new thing. And I'm like, oh, it's really beautiful. I could reach out and touch it. So I tried to reach out and touch it. And naturally, I couldn't. I just went, it's right there, though. And they were like, oh, yeah, no, it's right there. And boom, giant eye comes out of the background and comes right into the room with me. And it's like pulsating, and it's in the triangle. So I'm like, oh, how is this thing here? And I'm thinking right away, it's the AI, the eye and the sky and all that. And they're like, oh, that's not the AI. You don't know who that is? I'm like staring at this eye. It's right here, big. And it's just going bonk, 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 looking at me. And I go, are you Source? Is that the Prime Creator? The guy that I claim that I am. Prime Creator, Prime Source, right? Source Prime. And they're like, yeah, you did it. And I'm like, did what? And they were like, yo, this is open permanently. Absolutely permanently. And I was like, what? And I start going up. And as I'm leaving my body, I can't believe this is happening. Cats everywhere. I'm going, wait, what's going on? And I'm like floating out of my body and up. And I didn't even know I left. Like I was just enjoying it, but it was so weird. And it was funny. Gandalf was there. Gigi. And Reggie were the ones that I saw about 4 I didn't know. I was like, I don't know you. I don't know you. I don't know you. I love you. I send you love. I send you. Oh, Kadu. Reggie, come here. Reggie was with me. It was like she was floating with me. Gandhi came. She was floating with me. And then we got to a point and it just stopped. And I was standing on the edge of the cliff And I looked over at them and I was like, well, I don't know where we go from here, guys, girls. Um, I don't know. And then this rumbling, like the whole earth was shaking. I was like, yo, what's happening? And boom, where I was standing separated from where they were. And I was like, whoa, what's happening? And I got pulled up and I was like, bye, I don't know. I don't want to leave you. And I didn't want to leave them because metaphorically, it's such a pain in the ass because you go, should I take this metaphorically or does this mean
Or am I
in my
taking it
future
literal?
I
Yeah.
can't be with my family?
No,
Like,
I think they were just helping you get there.
but they kind of not waved me off, but they watched me and they were like, it's okay, you go. Like I was being launched into this new thing, man. And I went up into this spiral, and I'm like, oh, this is what it's going to be like.
But they were helping you get there.
Yeah,
You're already there. They're helping
now
you
that
get
it's a
there.
week later, I realized it was the ejector seat
Right.
frequency
Right.
wise, but also Gigi's not here. So I'm a little weird with that.
Maybe that's where she is. Waiting.
They called it the ultimate realigning of me and a portal to the higher realm. Those were my notes from the night that it happened. All right. So also one of the things that was really interesting, my back was getting fixed. They were plucking stuff, bong, 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 and my was going. And then I'm like, man, I feel pretty good. Like the pain wasn't overwhelming. Oh, here's another thing. My heart completely took a deep breath, let it out, whole body depressed or compressed, restarted back up, heart, boom, came in functioning excellent. I think they knew about me ordering the mushrooms.
They knew it was going to happen.
I ordered it.
Oh, before. Oh, you ordered it that long ago?
It's only the 21st. This was last week.
That's right. It feels like so long.
I know. It feels like this long time. All right. So they were like, you're doing the right thing. You're doing the right thing. You're doing the right thing.
So they were commending you also.
And I'm like, well, thanks. And they're like, no, they're like, look, this is literally your graduation. So those of you, now this was before 12/12, that portal opening. I always tell you guys, I believe those of us that are at the level that we need to be now to do this, that understand this, are popping off at the same time and going through this crazy stuff. So we're a little bit ahead of the game. So when it hits, we're not suffering during the hit. We're doing it over here a couple days before, a week before, 2 weeks before. So we get ahead on the next day. It's like you purge it all out and then you're clear. So the next day when everyone else is purging and going crazy,
right, you're good to go.
You're just good to go.
No, I see that.
Right?
I'm looking at Gigi's thing differently now. Maybe she's.
Nah, yeah. I can't.
Maybe
I have.
She was sent ahead to make preparations. I don't know. My little Gigi girl.
Somebody has my cat. They're gonna meet my my esteemed friends on the other side. So as I go into that ascension upward, I find myself just laying in not a hospital bed, but like a living room sofa chair, right? Or you're just like, oh, this is so comfortable. But I must have just floated up and sat into it. And I was like, oh, this is such a beautiful feeling. And then I felt strangely, like I was in an office. All right. And I was like, I'm so comfortable. But then I've been like this in the dentist chair, right? Where you're waking up out of the nonsense. You're like, oh, is it done? But I didn't have that stupor to me, but there was something still missing. There was this guy sitting right next to me. He was like 16, 17, maybe younger, maybe 15. I think like 16. And he had hair wavy, like down like this, kind of long in the back. And he was just sitting next to me. It looked like he was sitting, just looking at me. He's like, "You're right." And I was like, "Oh man, yeah, you're right." He was like, "I'm fine. Do you know who I am?" And I said, "You look a little young to be someone I would deal with." Like, I don't know. Do I know you? Like, I have no clue who you are. And I'm trying to remember, and I'm sitting in this chair and I'm feeling so comfortable, and I'm looking up and I'm kind of like, I got my arms like that, like resting in front of me, and I'm kind of shifting, going, nah, I'm trying to, no, got nothing. He goes, yeah, so I'm your son and I'm right here.
Mhm.
Right. So we have to talk. And I'm like, what? I was like, I don't have any kids. He's like, yeah, oh, okay, whatever. So just like a kid would, right? Yeah, okay, whatever. He leaned over. He says, I tried to come in through you. I was going to come in, but you guys completely canceled that. Can't do it. I can't do it. Now, we talked a few weeks ago about what had happened.
Oh yeah.
So, we're a little older to be having kids. I don't think
Yeah.
that's the right thing
Yeah.
to do at our age. We're just not equipped for it, nor do I want to bring a child into this world
Yeah.
like this with troubles and money issues, and
Yeah.
I can't handle it. It's just not. I'm not worthy of the child. So we have cats, which is fine. But then I go, so what are you doing? And he goes, well, I'm coming in. I'm coming down there, and I'm coming to see you. So you're gonna know it's me, except I have to go through the process. So I'm going to pop up eventually.
Right. And the process we believe is human childbirth.
Yeah, no,
So
it
he has
is.
to come in through a womb.
He said, I'm not coming in through you guys, but it's up to you, is what he said to me, to recognize me.
Hmm.
But I'm going to come to you. So he's like, you'll find me through me coming to finding you. But it's up to you to acknowledge who I am when you see me. And I'm like, well, that's awkward, especially if you show up at 3 or something, and someone's carrying you. Hey, look at this kid. And I'm like, oh, it's my kid. It's just awkward. So then I said, well, that's weird. What does your mother think about that? And I pointed to Paula. Like, I just went like this.
Yeah.
And he goes, that's not my mother.
Hmm.
And he was
Adamant about it.
he was
Yeah.
adamant and dismissive, like you, almost like he was calling me a jerk for doing that. Like, that's not like, what's wrong with you? He goes, what you do there is your business. That's your business. I go, I don't know where here is, though, because let me tell you guys something. We're here, and we've been through lifetimes of this. I've also been on the other side with her. I've been all the way up the chain, and we've been doing this since the beginning. So who are you? He's like, well, the beginning to you and doing all that is a flash in the
Right.
pan.
Right. Minutes. Takes minutes.
So you guys could join up and be like, yay, we spent a bazillion lifetimes. We collapsed, became our own singularity, and twin flamed it up and turned into the sun and the sky and whatever. And then when you're done, you got to come home.
So
I'm like, wait, what are you
Yeah,
talking about? I
yeah.
go, the last time I saw something like this, I was an ET green looking awesome thing, and out of no time, then there's the guy, the Arcturian version of me in the spaceship, then there's the Pleiadian guy over there, and they're all coming in from different sections. Then there's all the crappy ones, right, that I had to transmute and bring all those singularities back to me. Where are you in this? And he's like, I'm in the reality of this. I go, well, you're human, you're sitting there right there. And he goes, once again, we are right here.
Right.
You guys,
Right.
specifically Frank, is getting a nub in the head.
Right.
We're not, oh God,
Right.
we're not out there. We're right here, sitting with you.
So now, Frank and I'm in perimenopause, so we thought there may have been an accident, or it could have been the perimenopause because I skipped a period. And I didn't panic because we had gotten the flu, so I said the flu probably bumped it out. And then I skipped because it took a long time to get better. So while this is happening, I asked Frank. I said, do you see a baby? Do you feel a baby?" And he said, "No, no baby." And
What I saw, and I was using my hand to scan, but we were also, there were people under the influence, and I had smoked. So I said, is she, I could see one of my helpers right next to me. Look, oh, right here. Sorry. He was like right here. He's much bigger than me. And I'm like, so is there anything in there? Let me see. And I saw what looked like a bean, come out and then it was like in the background, but it was coming out of her and like out of her belly, and then it was just in front of me, turning, and I was like, oh, and then I go, so is she pregnant or not? And they were like, not anymore, no, no, no. So I was like, what do you mean not anymore? And they're like, no, no, nothing. There's nothing there. You just see nothing's there, and I'm like, yeah, but I don't know what that is that you just did, right? And they're like, I don't think they want to traumatize you sometimes. But that's what I saw. So to tell her, I told you everything, but
Yeah, and
it's weird when you see it.
but that's as easily as it happens. And then I got my period, so um, it was kind of a relief for us. But we would have gone through with it because it was something that we created together.
Yeah, yeah, we're not against,
And
like, we wouldn't do anything to hurt the
yeah, and
life.
that's not it. Yeah,
That's not here nor there.
that's not here nor there.
But-
But they made it very clear that in this lifetime that's not what's meant to happen.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how much love we have for each other. There are things that are out of our control, and there was a relief. But that soul that needs to come in, I hope he finds a way in, and I hope we do recognize him, whether or not he wants to acknowledge me or not. It doesn't matter. He wants to acknowledge you. I just hope that there's a way he can come in.
I believe it's already taken care of. I don't. We've resigned ourselves from those contracts. They were like, you guys are just thick in the head, like, and we know it. If we had a kid, it'd be awesome. I get it, but would it be if I have to give my kid 50 shots, do all this other kind of stuff, then train him in schools where he doesn't they're teaching him bullshit? Do I or her? Do I want to go through that? Do I want to go through that now in this apocalyptic moment where things are going to change? Apocalypse isn't bad. It's
Change.
It's out with the old, in with the new.
And it was like a bittersweet thing.
Yeah, it's like you're happy, but you're
but
like,
they told
yeah,
us it's something that we couldn't have.
You can't.
Basically,
you
they
can't
told
do this.
us we couldn't have handled it.
Oh, they're like, this isn't an environment for a
and
kid at all.
It's funny because it's almost like I believe all these things help you with preparedness, right? So it definitely would have been look. It was something we both agreed that we would do, but it definitely would have been a strain on our relationship, and that I'm being honest. And he knows it, and I know it. It's not something that we didn't speak about honestly, and I think they were trying to ease the blow and tell us this would have been a strain on your relationship. Like they basically laid it out to Frank like that. Like
they just showed me. They're like, you don't have the money, and this is no place for a kid. Even though in another, let's say 20 years, 10 years, it might be the perfect place to have a kid because things would be different. I'm
too old now.
That's what I'm saying. Our biological clock is gone. So our responsibility goes to the animals or to whatever else we choose to focus on because we're not doing the other thing.
And the funny thing is, the first thing I thought of when I was under is they took another baby from us.
Well,
this lifetime, and
I think our intent forced the no.
Right, but that's like, nah. The story of us. Like they take a baby from us every lifetime, and they took Gigi. Like they take babies. That's what they do from us. They take babies. And
they took Squeak too.
They took Squeak. We got Squeak back.
I can't even. We got Squeak back, but unfortunately,
yeah, they took him.
If you would have saw what I saw that day, when you see something that's big and grand and evil attacking you personally, and you're like, oh, and then it can't get to you, and then attacks the baby in the house and just goes for it, and you no qualms, like right. I want
the baby.
I want the closest thing to him to suffer and die, and this thing stuck its finger in my cat and broke it off, and you guys know the story, and then the cat died. So it's always the DNA. It's always Paula in the tank and Frank having this removed, and then let's see if we can mix it and match it and put it here. Whether you choose to believe that shit or not, it's there, happening. We're choosing to shut the program down that doesn't allow us to make that choice for ourselves and to be able to provide protection from you just stealing our stuff, right? Just like a piglet on a farm having little piglets, and then the farmer comes in and just takes them. The pig that was in there having the babies, you don't say nothing.
There's still a connect. But you still have a connection to
No,
it.
I know, but I'm not on a farm anymore with the piglets. I'm standing up as a man on 2 feet instead of
Right,
being
right,
the
right.
pig being butchered. I'm not here to provide that for you. Maybe I was, but no more. Your agenda is weak, sir. And as prime creator, I choose nay. I say you go before I make you leave. How do you like them apples? Right? That we're at that position now. Like this isn't a farm. I get up and I remove my harness and anything that straps me to the floor. I stop consuming the crap they're telling me that I have to eat. I don't sleep in shit no more. I don't roll around in mud and dirt. I stand up, right? And I start walking out. I remove the locks from the cage. Why? Because I'm intelligent and I can do it. I'm aware of it. And there's nothing you're going to do to stop me. Why? Because there's an entire stable of other beings standing up. You can't get us all. It's to the point where they just can't. They cannot. They will try down to the very last breath, but they cannot. Whereas we can, right? That's the I am, we are. It's us.
It is us. Oh, and and thank you, Nick. I don't feel bad that it ended before then. I mean, I do. I did, but it was very it wa- it was a very bittersweet thing because I had already resigned to the fact that if that's what it was, that's what we were doing, and we were going to do everything we could to move forward with that. And then it wasn't, and it was a little bit of a blow, but I think hearing it through the mushroom experience was the best way I could have understood it.
All right, couple of questions real quick. I just want to answer these. Bobtacular. So, can he come before, or does he start now?
I think he's waiting to come
So
in.
he's
I
like,
don't think he's here. I think he's trying to get here.
I feel like he was sitting in the waiting room to
Yeah,
be
in a
like
way. Yeah.
next, like, oh, I'm up. I'm just waiting for the doctor to come in and sit me in the chair next to you, but I'll be in there through this.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh, that's weird. Oh, by the way, the kid looked like me, skinny. I was like looking at him, and he kind of looked like me with long hair. Cool kid, no hair, facial hair at all, completely bald that way. He was still young, but he had that little attitude, like, yo, look at me, I'm chilling. I was like, man, this is so friggin' weird. So I believe he's gonna come in, and then he's not gonna like go back in time and then come in and then be a half adult when he meets me. I think he's gonna get in whenever that experience started
Yeah,
for
I don't
him,
think he's here
and
yet.
he's going to
Yeah.
grow up.
Or he might be now. I
One
don't
of the
know.
thoughts I had was, well, I'm not going to die, so I can't choose a casket and I can't sign a release form for any of that because I'm going straight through. So I'm going to be here for a while. Well, if that's the case, I was telling the kid this. I said, you just extended my life for multiple years if you're going to show up at the age you're at now or something. You just gave me a guaranteed, and they're like, no, you're not going anywhere. Like you still, it's hard to have faith that that's going to occur.
Mm-hmm.
And I've discussed this with Michael Britt, and we've talked about it. You're they can swear by the holiest of holies that there's a whole bunch of us that are taking the suit and walking into that
Right.
plane of existence, like being in it permanently and then just transmuting it, and not hippies on the side of mountains sipping on water and not eating animals. It has nothing to do with that. Some of it has to do with that, but it's not like those guys are going to go. It's whoever's sent here to pop off at that time, and those are, we're going through that. So I think, Bob, I think it's going to be my responsibility as a creator to use whatever's in me to be aware enough to know that it's him, and that's some kind of checkpoint, perhaps,
Mm-hmm.
for me.
For you.
For
Yeah.
me. So, because I can see the way he said it to me, it was like, no, it's up to you to do this, but it's up to me to get to you.
Right.
So I'll find you, but then you have to be aware of
Right.
me. Okay, Timberwolf. I think it goes back to what I was just saying. Let me see, Frank. What do you think if asking your formerly prospective son from what important experiences he and his mother would benefit, knowing that this will help you recognize him? I don't know, but the checkpoint is there. Like, to me, it's there's going to be some kind of unlocking, maybe, You know, when you see, like when I saw my nephew, there was that unlocking. I almost
Mhm.
wanted to do that with him. Like I almost felt that, oh, like my brother had the kid that maybe I should have had, and he came in through him. Like I had all these weird thoughts.
Mhm.
But then on the other side, he's an adult, right? So he wasn't a little kid. He's standing next to me as a man,
Right.
going,
Right. Waiting.
hey, Frank,
Right.
I'm gonna race you in there.
Mhm.
And I'm like, you can't get in there. Like we're family. I don't know how other than just using that word family, because we were two men going, but acting like complete boys, going, oh, you think you can do it? And then we got in, and then I was in the room, and he popped out like a little mushroom, and then I saw him and freaked out and was like, ah, and I ran from him. And that must have been lifetimes of me separating from him, being scared once I was in the space, because you have amnesia. You get in here, you think you could do it from the other side, and then you get in here, it's a complete different experience. So much so that it'll make you run for cover. You'll get in and you'll be the cat under the bed for 2 years.
Yeah.
You know. So I think, and then it's part of his journey and adventure. I can't speak for the one. I've not met these people, so I have no clue what anyone's talking about. As far as I'm concerned, this is what I'm concerned about 100% of the time, all the time. That other stuff is great and grand, but until the great and grand expands and becomes more, I can't really overly comment on it. And I don't feel, I feel some kind of connection into the universe to other things, but I don't see that stuff. I don't see me with a kid and a wife and being separate from this over there. I can understand in the multi fracture of the whole thing, having that naturally. She would have husbands and we'd have wives and husbands and blah, 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 whatever. It would be whatever combinations of whatever. I mean, it's infinite. So it's got to be there in one layer, right? There's got to be one layer where Frank's like, well, we're going to pop out a kid right now, right? And it just happens to be what it is. But you're like, nah, it's over here. So I don't know where over there is, because I've been to a lot of over there's. I've been in the overlay of 4 and 5D where it's fantastic. It's golden light and flying cars and all that stuff. I've been out of the machine completely where I stand up and we're not even human. And they're like, no, you're just learning how to use your stuff. Right? I've stepped into source. I've just done all these crazy things. I don't know anymore. I don't know how to judge some of this stuff. And like I said, it messed me up a little bit. So it took me like 3 days of coming down, from that experience to be able to talk about it. All right. Before we go, so the next day is the 12/12 on 12/12, right? So it was, I go outside and I'm like, I'm kind of curious to what's going on, and I'm just going to stamp this down. It's one little thing. I hear, yo, man, you need to eat a handful of mushrooms and get your ass outside right now. And it was 5 minutes to 12:12 a.m. You were sleeping on the couch, and we had just eaten the steak dinner, and I was full, and I was like, oh, I'm so full. This was delicious. It was delicious. We ate, right? We ate the
Oh yeah, yeah, the skirt steaks. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
yeah, but we had the potatoes
Yeah,
too,
baked
so I was
potatoes, yeah.
full. So I eat mushrooms like that. You're 3 hours before you get in. All right. So I'm like, nah, man, I don't want this lasting until tomorrow
Right,
afternoon,
right.
whatever. You should have said something to me. And they're like, you should have been aware of it. We've been talking to you the whole time. So I go outside. Yes, it is going to be in this lifetime because I'm not leaving. It's going to be one lifetime from here out. It's just one. So I go outside. I go, okay, I'm looking up at the sky because they always say you guys never look up anymore. Nobody ever looks up. I'm still waiting for the amazement day, even though I've seen the UFOs and all that. So I'm looking up and I'm breathing. And I'm like, oh, let me connect, and then I start to hear it. We are family, dun 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 dun, like loud, but it's in the distance, and then it gets really loud, and I'm like, man, I really like that song a lot. I love that song, and then I just see dancing all around me, and they're like, you did it, and I'm like, what's going on here? And I'm going to tell you right now, these characters or beings that I've seen as the Galactic Federation characters, they wear like the Star Trek outfits, and they'll have like the Ashtar, Ashtar. I met him multiple times. People are like, well, he's a program. He's this. He's a dude. You can talk your shit all day long. I've stood in the room with these guys, but they have a very good sense of humor. So they were dancing in front of me, And they're like, you should be dancing right now with us.
Right.
And I felt my higher guy start moving, but I was full and I was kind of pissed off. I'm like, you guys partying? What's going on? And I could see levels. And I'm like, what is this? And they're like, dude, graduation, bro. This is it. You're done. You start from like the zero with the new timestamp going forward. You're going straight for it. This is a beautiful thing, but you have to take the time and celebrate. And then that checkpoint is a party. It's like graduation day, not just for me, for others. And they're celebrating that it got to this point.
Right.
And they're like, dude, we've been telling you this forever and ever and ever, but everything's going to be all right. We win. Right? The light wins. You're going to be okay. You're not going to die. This is what's going to happen. I don't know how many times we got to tell you.
Right.
And he was dancing like, so then I was like, I found myself moving to the music because it was loud. And I'm like, wow, man, this is kind of good. And then my oversoul did this. It like, boom. And it came out and was doing this move. And I was like, yo, why don't I look like any of you? Like the light being was doing the dance. And it was beautiful. I was like, whoa, this is awesome. And they're like, because that's you and this is us.
Right.
That's what you look like, right? We're all connected and it's all good, but you are the creator. You are the creator. It's you. It's you. It's her. It's you people out there, you beautiful beings of light. It's you. And although everyone is connected and we are all source energy, not everyone is a creator. And they're like, you need to get that through your head and you need to celebrate a little bit, which was really weird because I couldn't celebrate last week because we weren't there. Like even during that celebration, even though that was kind of cool, I was pissed off because I'm like, oh, last night was like this. And now you didn't say nothing to me. Like I'm supposed to guess that shit.
Right.
Give me a break. Come on. And they were like, oh, look, he's got a little bit of an attitude. That's okay. That's okay. And they were dancing, man. They hugged me. They came over. Just like when Squeak died, it was like they formed a line that went on infinitely.
Right.
And I go, everyone showed up. I was crying hysterical going, everyone's here. There's no one not here. And everyone walked. I spent an entire ayahuasca session, the whole time, shaking hands and hugging beings the whole time. And I started crying because there were so many of them. I go, you all came to see me. They were like, well, we know what the Kadu means to you. You guys are like peanut butter and jelly in that sense. He's always been there with you. Always. And I'm like, oh shit, this is crazy. This is really crazy. But it was a good version. It was on that tip of the party. So we definitely all, and it's not about me. It was just my personal experience. We are all should be congratulating ourselves that we made it this far. Exactly. You don't need to worry about reptilians and monsters. And
exactly. You got to this point.
We're here.
Because now 2020 is approaching.
Yeah. No more going to eat you, boogeyman under the bed stuff. There is none of that.
No.
You have to come into yourself and you have to expand and become aware.
But that's the most important thing now because 2020 is upon us. Now, the government is printing more money.
Trillions.
Okay?
Ugh.
We're going into a recession. So be smart. Just be smart. That's all we're saying. We're not saying change your life. We're just saying be smart. If you don't need to do certain things, don't do them. Reevaluate what's important to you because in 2020, there is going to be a big restructuring.
Yeah, something's going to happen.
Across the country, there's going to be a big restructuring and everything is going to shake out. It's going to work out the way it's supposed to, but in the middle, there's going to be a lot of fallout. This is what I believe.
Yeah, no, I think you're right.
And, you can't just keep printing money and there's nothing to back it. So we all have to be very smart. We really do. All
well, Rob was saying, like, he was, telling me, like, because I gave it to him a little bit. I was like, oh, you getting on that tip where things are getting a little dark again? And he's like, well, we might get away with something because we're fully aware and we're trying, but you see, it still affects us. So you can't have the good without first collapsing it. Yeah. So you're going to get fires, you're going to get this, you're going to get that. And I'm like, yeah, but we win. So I have to look. It's like when you punch through your opponent, instead of punching someone in the face, they teach you punch through the wall. You have to, don't look at the wall you're going to punch or the face you're going to punch. You got to think of what's behind it. Right. And then that's where you put your hand. I have to do that mentally with this thought. Right. I'm fully aware of what's going on, but I have to be brighter about it because it was so dark for so long.
Right.
And they're not doing that stuff anymore. Like as you're coming out of this and you rise up out of this, you're going to shake it off and it's going to become something else. And we have to be there for people and be aware for these other reasons. So I can't get too dark with it. But yeah, like it's pedophiles got to go down. Government's got to change.
It's all gonna
Money's got to stop
happen.
being printed
It's
like that.
totally all gonna happen. There's just gonna be a lot of fallout
Lots.
while it's happening, but we're in it together. And so, like I like what's happening in the Fearless group. People are informing other people of what's going down. And I think that's great. And it's been very uplifting also because people have been sharing their wins, in the group, which is good for other people in the group that are going through things because, you're down. Yeah, you will be down for a period of time, but you'll be back up again. That's just the way it works,
Okay,
and
so
we're
it's a
all here together.
sine wave they call it, right? That's like the basic frequency. It goes. It's a wave. It comes in a pattern. It's up and down. So you go up. Oh yeah, this is great. Whoa, this is down, and you have to find the balance right through the middle
Right.
because the wave is just going to keep going. You're to ride that line right here as the wave takes you.
Hmm.
Experience the ups, experience the downs, but
Right,
you keep balance so we can do this.
because it's an ebb and flow, and we want to rise to the top. So you're just going to have to go with it, and I agree. I think a recession is coming too. I it happened in 08, 09. Why wouldn't it happen again? They're doing the same exact things they did then.
They're going for it, so
Be prepared.
be prepared, be aware.
Be prepared, be aware, and think smart. When you're
It's chess. You got to play 10 steps ahead in this game.
yeah,
and
be prepared.
prevention, every day, if you or every week you take $10, you put, oh, we're gonna get filtered water, or
It's
we're gonna
funny
do
that-
this
it's
and
funny
shower
that you should say
filters.
that because we watched a clip of Mike Tyson on YouTube. He was doing an interview about the toad medicine, and he said
On ESPN.
shrinking his ego was the greatest thing that he did for himself. And I said to Frank, I said, and you've listened to recent episodes. I was one of the millions of people that judged Mike Tyson. I did from the very beginning. And after I listened to him talk about his experiences with ayahuasca and with the toad medicines, I really have this respect for him now. And he was a pawn. He was being used. He could have been manipulated to do anything. I believe if he had the right people around him, they could have gotten him to do anything, and his life wouldn't have been his own. So I'm grateful for him that he found ayahuasca and he found the toad medicines. But I was talking to Frank, and the first thing I said was, I bet you his spending went down dramatically, because when you shrink your ego, you decrease your spending, and because you spend and you buy to make your ego happy, and when the ego is removed from the scenario, the that frivolous spending doesn't need to happen, because you don't need to make yourself feel better about things. So you buy that thing to make you feel better, and then it makes you feel better till the next thing, and then you buy the next thing. So I was curious to know if his spending went down.
Yeah, of course it did.
It had to, because for us it did. Remember in the beginning we were buying everything, like all these little stupid things we wanted. It was like kids in a candy store. And then
It stopped, and we purged everything that we didn't need.
purged. It was unnecessary. So I'm curious, and with a little bit of insight, you can weather through any storm, and that's what we have to do. We have to say goodbye to this year. This is the end of the year. There's one more week, and we need to really put everything to bed. We need to say goodbye to it. Thank it for what it gave you, and welcome in the new year, and don't hold on to any negativity from the past. Let it go. Try to let it go. I know it's baby steps, but try to let it
No,
go.
yeah, but you really should. You really should. All right.
Close out the year quietly and embrace the new year.
Confront your emotions and feelings. Whatever bothers you and triggers you, observe it. Say to yourself, why is this doing this to me? And then go, okay, I understand it. Then let it go.
Mhm.
So it doesn't do it to you no more. Face the demon down. The demon's scared of you. Trust It's only big. It appears big because you have fear.
Mm-hmm.
When you face it, when you finally get the nerve up to stand up to the bully, you'd be surprised how they crumble. And the ones that don't crumble, you crumble them. And you do your best. You always leave them wishing they didn't get up that day, right? I might not win, but you're going to lose an eye. Or I'm going to lose an ego.
Right.
I don't care how
Right.
bad I have to beat the shit out of you. I will lose my ego. That's how bad I'll beat the demon. I'll beat it till my ego screams, please, no more. And I'll say, shrink.
Right. You
And as
need
it shrinks, I'll tear the thing out of you and then put you in my pocket and tell you how much I love you and walk away. Because even at the higher levels, the ego is still present. It's an ever-present thing. It's what keeps things going around here.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to you to balance that. So I've asked the higher ones. I'm like, yo, on this level, you guys still get pissed off and stuff? And Shiva was like, it takes everything in my power some days not to just slap you. I'm just gonna let you know. And I'm like, yeah, I felt the same thing when I call you and you don't answer me. And I start getting like whatever. And then you hang out with Hanuman and you ask 50 questions and start touching things and he slaps you. And then you wake up and then you become, see, that works with me, right? That hard, gritty kind of Full Metal Jacket thing. You fat son of a bitch, wake up. Like that works with me. I don't know what, it motivates me, right? And I just face it down, do it, because I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to do that specific thing anymore. I don't want anything doing that to me. I don't want anything hanging on. What am I losing? We're still here. Everything's great. I cried in the beginning. I'm Swiss cheese. You're taking everything from me. My memories, my this, my that. I'm still here. I'm great. It's all good. We're all together. Still haven't been eaten by a reptilian in this lifetime. Like, yo, what's up? To me, it's right now, it's 100% breakdown on their end. And you can watch it through the politics and then the planet doing its little twist and shout because it's changing. Everything's changing. So just have that in mind, and a little bit of preparation, right, saves you on the other end, right? So you don't have to go run to the store if the store runs out of water or something. Like, you just have enough for you and your people for a week or two. That's all you got to worry about, right? And then the next thing, safety, security, procedural, medical, just whatever you need, little thing here, there, and you have everything. Like we have everything in a 1-bedroom apartment. It's not stacked like shit. We have everything we need. We have just enough to work perfectly, and we're good with it. And we're not minimalists either. You know, go out there and be the creator that you know you are.
Just be kind to each other. It's the end of the year. Is there another show before?
Yes, there's one. That's what I was checking before. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was looking over your shoulder. There's one more show before the end of the year, so we will be with you till the end, and then
into the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So start saying your goodbyes. Just start saying goodbye and thank you and show gratitude and be kind, and then we'll pick it up next week, and then we'll close out the year together, and then we'll be with you for the beginning. We'll be with you for the beginning.
Right in the beginning.
We're not going anywhere. We're right here.
And beautiful souls go out and do beautiful things. It starts very small.
Yeah.
Not
and
killing the
holidays.
insect, not yelling at the Christmas dinner. Don't have the extra drink and then throw cake at your brother or something. Don't do that stuff, right? Be happy that you actually have someone.
And mindful and kind. That's it. That's it. That's the best gift. Be happy.
Yeah. They always tell you, right? You should be happy. That's your enemy. That does more damage to your enemy than anything else is your happy life. Yeah. Good life is the best revenge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
So have a great life.
Yeah.
Do the best you can through the moments, and then realize that they're just moments in time. And
they are moments in
what
time.
feels like, I'll never come out of this over here. On this end, you're like, wow, I can't believe that I was over there thinking I would never come out of this. So remember how it works.
People need people for the holidays, not things. So just be there.
Right.
Be there. Be
that light. Shine that light bright. And stay fearless. And remember, the universe rewards bravery. I love you guys so much. Shout out to the Fearless family. And
thank you.
IamWeAreFearless.com. 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 I'm Frank Castle. That's Paula Milo, and we're out. Peace.